So those pictures I sent, one of us can be capable of. Oh snap! He sent me a second email with a bunch of PDFs and JPEGs. Okay, uh, download all attachments.
Hey guys,
Hey, great to have you.
thanks
Oh.
for
Hi,
having
Tom.
We're live, and there's Tom.
me. Sorry, I'm like a little too functional, so I'll be like, "Pop!" There I am. So yeah.
Gotcha.
That's like me. But
I
yeah.
thought we were gonna have like 3 minutes of like psychedelic conscious hip hop first. I didn't know how we were gonna get started.
Oh yeah, that would have been nice. But regardless, I really appreciate everyone for tuning in. We just gotta roll with it because we're live right now. Um, so yeah, I don't know if you're aware of this, Tom, Maria, Zerilath. I think you are. You've been a part of it for like 7, 8 hours of the whole month of June. I live streamed things about the movie The Matrix and all these things, even the philosophies and the esoterica and allegories and all these things, and it's so incredible like how much lore has been exploded from this franchise and whatever, and even just music, because I've been a conscious hip hop DJ for a dozen years, and like I've heard oodles of references to the Matrix and stuff, and however people want to act all cool and like the red pill and whatever the hell. But yeah, so I did 52 hours of live streaming.
Wow.
And just went through all these things, and then coming across Zerilath of what he mentioned with you, Tom, and your story, and then delving into that, and then showcasing that, and kind of having to step back and holy smokes, and just reframe everything, because your story is so incredibly compelling. So I just wanted to put that out there real quick. I had more introductory stuff, but I just wanted to introduce my really great friend Marja West, Zerilath Immortal as well, who really is, I'm so grateful for everyone being here, but you're the man that set this up, Steven. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna pass it to you and do what you do, man.
Thank you. Man, I'm like I'm slightly living in being 19, 18 years old right now when the movie came out, right? Because this is great honor, Tom, because as I grew up, I began to realize, why don't people that just write in Hollywood ever fucking talk? And what's happened to you is the answer to that fucking question. And I've always wanted to talk to the writer of these movies. And I'm not. I'm talking to the writer of The Immortals, which is going to be 10 times better. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, guys, and it was nice to be told we'll have an intelligent audience, intelligent host. I love that. So, because basically, you're watching, it's like a Far Side cartoon where the guy goes to hell, and he was a music instructor, and he's sent in this room with all these heavy set boys playing tubas, and that's his punishment. And it just feels like I've been put in kind of hell where you write something to ask more questions than answer questions, and instead it gets taken and convoluted and stripped and simplified, and you're just like in that room with all the tubas playing. It's like, please, it was supposed to elicit or stimulate constructive dialogue and bring together people to solve world problems, while warning about what the plans were. It wasn't meant to be taken by those that failed at everything they did and then just strip it down, simplify it in order to make money off it. And so the message really has been missing for almost 3 decades now.
Yeah. It's become so impossible for any film that needs to pull money at all, because of the set pieces and the kind of filming you need to do, paying your talent, so on and so forth. It's just like there's no reason why the system has to completely gut creativity, but it needs to. And some of the things you've talked about, because before I want to get into what the true Immortals story is, because I want to talk about that today. Not just a deconstructing the films, but really like letting the mind see your script without the pollution.
Right.
Is that, you know, you talked about the military industrial complex's relationship with Hollywood, which anybody that knows, you know, their proper media history understands how that goes back to the to our relationship with the War Department in World War II, and your Immortals story has a connection to Mean Mr. Mustache that was omitted from the Matrix, and so that's going to help people understand a whole lot of the great crime that was done to society, as the great crime that was done to you was robbing people of their informed opinion to make their choices on, right? Oh, and what do those movies ironically say? The problem is choice.
Yeah.
Don't worry, they'll figure it out.
Right. Isn't that something? The Wachowskis actually said, let audiences figure it out for themselves. They weren't going to explain it because they didn't understand it. There was a meeting that was held at the Warner Brothers studios with the suits, you know, the Warner Brothers suits, and they're quoted in this article as saying, we know we have something cool, but we don't understand it. Well, the Wachowskis couldn't understand it. They got frustrated, left the table, and the guy who was writing the article said they're in another room screaming, they can't do that on the phone, while Joel Silver tries to explain to the suits that aspects like it's robots in the program. It's not robots in the program, Joel Silver. It's robot-like agents, people who are reduced to being monitored from a room of monitors by an agent who oversees them that can destruct them with Neuralink enhancers where everything they feel can be felt too. And so whatever they see is recognized. And the idea is they're not allowed to show any fear or emotion or they're terminated. That's a lot higher stakes than just robots in a program. If you have actual people that are condemned to act robot-like, or else they're terminated while they're doing horrendous acts that they can't get out of their head.
Christian Bale's Equilibrium. That's where they put that concept. They put that. They put it in equilibrium, right? I was telling you earlier that like what they've done with you and your script is what they did to the entire Jodorowsky's Dune, right? They ripped it up and then they used it over a generation and threw it all over different franchises of Hollywood.
Exactly. And if you look at the way that the theft was orchestrated, they keep saying, let's see the script, the full out, let's compare the full script. People have to realize that what they did was, since their minds couldn't grasp it, even the suits at Warner Bros. Didn't understand it, what they had to do was take every image they thought was cool from this work. Jack's the neck, blue pill, red pill, little girl at the train station, identical figures facing off at the end, Neuralink, Sorcery, all that's in here. And so what they did was they went page by page and did a visual storyboard of every cool, quote, cool image they saw. And so they looked at it that way with a 600-page storyboard. Fans of the work may remember that. And so on set, they took this in one hand, took the visual storyboard in the other, and thought they could create it on set with union wage people waiting, being paid hourly for, you know, what's next, which accumulated into an argument at the end of the filming where they were saying, they say in an article, you can find this, where they're saying everyone said to blow up the Matrix. Well, yeah, if you're lifting all the images out of a story, anything from Shakespeare to Dr. Seuss, you're going to lose the thread of that story. And if you're convoluting it that way and embellishing and throwing fluff in, as you're borrowing from other films like Dark City, Train Man from Ghost, Alice in Wonderland, if you're borrowing stuff to complete the DNA of the story that you're lifting, then you're going to have a unconclusive piece at the end. So there was a huge argument they talked about at the end where everybody they said to blow it up, and the Wachowskis kept this very ending. It didn't tie together. They took the little girl and turned her into a, quote, subplot that didn't have no meaning. The little girl is integral to a satisfying ending because she's there as Neo's daughter in the original work. And then when she hugs him and points to the sun at the end, he's reunited with her, scars gone, ageless again, and she says she watched him through the entire thing. There's a lot of meaning there. Instead of taking it and taking the little girl and just having her run up and hug the oracle and point to a sunset, and she's saying, you know, did you make that? She, Where's your ending? You're supposed to tie it together. But they didn't want that relationship. That's just one aspect right there that's very frustrating.
Yeah. because that's indicative. Like that's two things they took out that are funny enough, inherent parts of kind of the spiritual warfare that we're fighting now, which is, this film took God out, or the higher forces we like to call the creator, and it takes out like that family level humanity, right? It's like, look at us cool cyberpunk people that like want the freedom to dress in leather and do kung fu, is kind of like what you're left with a certain angle of the characters, which you give them the leeway for because they live in a shithole and don't have much room to develop a personality. They're all in a war. That's a good excuse, but
Right. We could go on and on if we ever wanted to at some point with the stripped down scenes, the stripped down concepts, the iconic ones, where they simplified them into just moronic piles of smoking refuge. It's like, it's incredible. Like, I have so many I could tell you that make it like a living hell for me.
I believe it.
Absolutely. So I wanted to, but like I want to get right into actually the Matrix stuff just a little bit later, only because I want to honor what you've been through, right? And so that's why it's part of the reason why Maria's here. I want to have her talk and ask questions in a minute here, because I want to really kind of like dive into like what you've seen about all of these criminal connections, things associated with how they're victimizing people, and where we're seeing the dark sorcery, satanic ritual abuse, and all of those things that come along with what you went through discovering the truth to save your script.
Right. I'd love to go there. In fact, I want to cap really quickly with the idea that when I wrote it, I didn't think it'd be made. When I wrote it, it was going so against the grain of the agencies, Hollywood, our country, that I thought, and even religion, that no one was going to make this, I thought. Be it far from the other side of it, where it was over budget. How will you make something this expensive? And then you look at that trail later where they had to simplify everything down. That's why the train station scene, for example, became a static family, Indian family with a daughter who's well-dressed, it's supposed to be a crowded scene. I sent you a clip thing where it's like tons of people outside the program who are not given the red pill, that are pushing their kids into a train station where the only conduit you can transfer into the program, if somebody takes your child and takes them in that's in the program. Only they can pass through the liquid mirrors, which are the security device, which they took that out and put that with Morpheus in his living room or den or something, his man cave, where he puts his hand through the mirror, Neo does. That's not it. The mirrors have a bigger function where they are the security devices. That's, if you take the red pill, you can pass through and enter the Immortal program.
The fourth Matrix film, they started trying to do that. Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah, in the fourth film, they were using mirrors as portals because the way the network had up.
Oh my God! I didn't even know. I haven't watched it. I couldn't watch it. So there you go.
Yeah, that's it. There's even a scene where the new Morpheus is trying to get like Thomas Anderson, who needs to re-wake up. He sticks his hand through the mirrors, like, "Come on, man, we gotta go, right?" And he's like, "No, that's not happening."
This is killing me. I'm so sorry, but it's killing me because I was saying during interviews after they did 2 and 3 that it was stupid to have phone booths, because if you have phone booths, any agent could tag the phone booths, limit, first of all, the number of phone booths in the program, make sure they're all monitored, and if you see somebody in black leather squeaking vinyl going to a phone booth, you got to. It's like, it's so stupid. If you're trying to, I'm sorry, I'm passionate about it, but it's like, if you're trying to be covert, don't wear bells and whistles and don't go to phone booths. And the reason they put the phone booths in is because of the Dream movie I pitched with it, where the guy in the Dream movie that I pitched, he could fly in his dreams to escape. And so they thought Superman. And so they put phone booths in the
Wow.
Phone booths because they thought Superman.
Yes.
Oh my God. I would never made that correlation.
And they did reference that.
I mean,
they referenced Superman.
I knew he was doing Superman, But the phone booth is like, if only Neo was using phone booths, that would make sense. But everybody uses the phone booth. Only Neo flies.
That's right. And that's from a dream movie, right? It's like the dream movie. And so what happens is they put the two together, just like they lifted every image they thought was cool from the screenplay. They put both films together, Dream Movie and The Immortals, and it doesn't work. Neo is not supposed to have superpowers. He's not supposed to fly, even in the program. The reason he's allowed to survive at the hands of Smith is the architect has not allowed Smith to take him out. Why? Because to balance the equation in the original work, Smith is not allowed to take out Neo. Neo's not allowed to take out Smith because it feeds the stimulations. It stimulates the architect's mind. The problem in the balance the equation is the architect is in an immortal program where his mind is going to atrophy from lack of stimulation. So therefore, he has these two that are against each other among the rest of the world that stimulates his mind. He wants a rough time for them. And then at the right time, he's going to pull it where Smith is going to allow to take Neo out. But get this, the architect knows that Smith is going to fail. He's betraying Smith because he wants Neo to beat Smith, to take his Neuralink, to download his memories. He's doing it all. He wants the agents purged. So he's having Neo and Underground do his dirty work while Smith thought that the architect was with him. See how it's supposed to be? And that way, the balance the equation happens where Neo actually, the Oracle, is ambiguous. And he brings out the free people of Zion untainted. After the big purge, they can see the architect come back as Christ, and then the mind is stimulated forever. Agents not needed, purged. Wow. See?
Wow.
And
you have been robbed, my man. You have been robbed.
Yeah, and get this. The red pill is the bad pill. The blue pill is the good pill.
I always knew that. I always knew that. Just by color alone, blue resonates higher at a frequency than red. Hello?
Yes. And the red pill, you're right. And the red pill is based on the blood of the children to create a longevity program.
Yes.
That's what it is. That's why the red pill. And get this, it's not, here you go, Morpheus going red pill, blue pill choice. No, that's not how the cabal works. And that's what's born in the screenplay. You are offered the red pill, and you and your family will die unless you take the red pill. You've been invited in the program. There's no take-backs. You take that seat or you lost it all. That's how the cabal works. Later, when he's cut from the program and the architect has him pulled Smith's enhancer, right, and has his own disease, he then is offered the blue pill in Underground so he can re-enter the program. The blue pill is not based on the blood of children. It has painful side effects, but if you're going to save the world, you're going to be feeling a lot of pain. That's all we got, a bootleg pill that's not having the blood. We should all be saying we're blue pill.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because like the red pill, that's like basically it's like vampirism in a pill, right?
Yes,
right? And the cabal. Yeah, like they make ghouls in vampire lore. Like I've done things. I've played like Vampire the Masquerade, and that stuff's actually based on legit occultism. Those games, the old ones from the late '80s, early '90s, which would have been the zeitgeist of the time that the Matrix came to you. It would have been right in the pocket. Like this is the technocrats from Mage the Ascension, right? They do the Men in Black thing. They're anti-science using techno magic that they don't call magic. They're kind of interesting. I have a character, but
isn't that something that everyone says they're red? I mean, all say they're red pilled, and what they've done is gotten people to agree to the horror done to the children, the agendas that they have. Yeah. They've got the public to agree with them unknowingly by saying they're red pill.
Yeah. And that's the instrument, right? And that's the instrument within your script that, that's what their fuss is going to be about, because if you put that into order, it's also right on the fucking nose of the cabal. Marja, why don't you take
It's a complete inversion of everything that you set out to do, Tom. And I'm a huge follower of yours. And so some of the podcasts that I have watched where you have like just laid it all out, I am just quite often tears streaming down my face, because it is like you talk about the franchise. It is one big, gigantic chaos black magic operation that is still fucking happening. Pardon my French. And people are so dumbed down, they can't see it. And I've been on numerous podcasts over the decades where it's like, I'm trying to explain this and people look at me like I have three heads and they don't understand the inverted symbology and how the hijacking of human creativity, i.e. your work, i.e. and then harvesting that and turning it into all sorts of things that it was never meant to be. The feeding frenzy still continues on.
Does.
And I am so sorry for your experience. And I think these are important conversations that we need to have, because the way Hollywood does it, they do it on so many different levels, between the writers and the producers, the directors. They're going to dangle these little fame and fortune things, and people are going to fall for it, and they are going to turn on you. They're not just going to turn on you. They're going to actually eat their own. And that's exactly what they do. Everything that you describe. And it is chaos black magic, because the way I work with trauma, there's the mind cage, there is the heart cage, there's the body cage. And these are all aligned with the chakras. And I was actually floored that in the first movie that there was the whole intersection of all of the components that were plugging into people, plugging into the babies. This is how I see the chakra system being hijacked by the powers that want to be, by these fucking demons that want to do these blood ritual. And blood ritual is not just about blood. It is about our creativity. It is about our focused attention. Where are you diverting your attention to? Who has your attention? What has your attention? And people are so busy with the outer reality that they have forgotten who's minding the store of their own mind, heart, and bodies. And, the infiltration gets trickled down, where it's not just about thought control and mind control. It is about the possibility of your third eye and what you can imagine for yourself, what you can imagine for the universe. Okay. And then after that, it goes into our communication. The things that we talk about, the things that are important, the things, our creative spark that we want to share with everybody. And Tom's just gotten bashed completely in all the chakras, and it just keeps continuing. And it just breaks my heart to just really see the extent on a daily basis to which this continues with, the legacy media, with the things that's going on in all of the social media outlets, on X, on the Facebook, on YouTube, etc. I mean, it just goes on and on and on.
Where's Tom?
I think is he in? No, I'm not seeing him.
Okay, there was a drop.
Okay.
Yeah, I know he's had internet issues and all that, so I thought you noticed that and you were trying to message him, if you don't mind, Steve. But
yeah, I'm sitting right here in on Facebook.
Sure. But in the meantime, Marja, continuing, that's really pertinent of what you said, and I think
I have worked with numerous Hollywood folks who have bashed up against a concrete wall because they dared to say, no, I'm not going to do that. And as a result, there is this, there's a slapback, there's a pushback, there are consequences to going your own way. And there are consequences to having an independent thought, to thinking critically, to saying no to being exploited for the sake of being exploited even more. And fortunately, a lot of people are kind of falling by the wayside and trying to find different ways to be in their creativity, being in their expressiveness. And it may not be Hollywood, it's something else. theater at a local level, at a city level, at a state level, rather than going into these big, huge productions, which are, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they are harvesting centers for creativity, sexuality, you name it. All of it. Free speech.
And what can I just add something real quick, Maria? Because
of course,
I mean, I mentioned this. You know, we were both in the Corey Angelis, Freedom Summit, and one of the things I mentioned is that like the elites or whoever the hell, and like they're trying to recruit the best and the brightest and the most talented and all that stuff, and put them in certain cages of programmings or whatever, have their handlers and all these things, so they parade as the people's champions and the experts and yada yada. And all these things, and yet there's limited, and they're cut down and hijacked from their gifts and talents and all that stuff, and what they've cultivated, throughout their youth and whatever the fuck, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And our only recourse is to stay aligned, to stay centered, and not fall for any of the trappings that would hijack our integrity, because this is a spiritual war for our consciousness. It is a spiritual war for our creativity. It is a spiritual war for who gets our attention. And getting our attention is, it's easy. It's easy to have our attention hijacked. It's easy to get waylaid by any of the shit shows that are either being presented to you, whether it's personal or impersonal. I mean, look at the stuff that's like going on in the world. Unless you're completely isolated, you get exposed to it, and you have to be really, really conscious and steadfast in willfully ignoring that bullshit. Otherwise, you become a tool for the powers that want to be, or food for them. So it's nuts. It's really nuts. But we have the power. We have the power of making the choice to stay aligned and stay centered and not fall for any of this crap, and not taking the easy way out, because that's the thing, is that people want to be entertained, and they don't care. They don't care what it means. And, and there's also the sort of push to willfully ignore that SRA is real, that pedophilia is real. There's so much of this going on in all those social media outlets that, these are all true for conspiracy theories. And, frankly, I want to punch people when I hear that kind of stuff, because you can poo-poo it all you want. But, unless it really starts to affect you personally and directly, a lot of people are willing to give it a pass, and they're willing to give their resources, their money, their attention to anything Hollywood puts out.
Indeed. So we're sitting here. I have not heard from Tom in email or in or on the other connections that we got on Facebook. So I don't know if he's having I don't think it's gonna be like a power issue at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but between the three of us, we can just keep it going, because it's just a really growing conversation.
Yeah, we certainly can, because now my mind is thinking about changing gears and doing a little bit of for that. So
Zerilath, real quick, man. One of the comments, someone mentioned Ken Wilber connection. Are you familiar with him?
Ken Wilber? I don't know if I know that name at all. Ken Wilber. I'm gonna just.
It was a question for Tom, obviously, but yeah.
I don't know any context for Ken Wilber, so I just say Ken Wilber, Hollywood.
He's an author, a kind of guru type.
I need more context on the name Ken Wilber. That could mean anything. I'm sorry.
No worries. It's nothing we're gonna get hung up on, because we'll save that for Tom. Which what he was trying to do, I don't know if people understood and have even listened to any of his interviews, but one of the things that really caught my ears when he had a great chat with Matt Belair out in Canada. He said he's trying to, like, he's whispering through arts, working that magic subtly but surely and all that stuff. And it's so fucking disgusting how these things get hijacked, distorted, perverted, inverted, and what the fuck? Just so like I mentioned, these people champions are like, hey, starring this person in this movie and blah blah blah. And it's not to cut down on all these people and like as if they're fucking robots or whatever, but it's just to kind of dispel the idea that these are people that we should be looking up to, like actors. What is an actor, right?
Yeah.
They put on so many different personas. Sometimes they don't even know themselves to a good degree, like we do in this fucking pathwork that we're about, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, that's part of the hijacking of the mind, is that you dangle very, very pretty, attractive people, and people, the average human being is desperate to give their power away, desperate for attention, desperate to have that reflected back. And it's like they want to be and they want to align with these actors and actresses and kind of be like them. And that is just another way of like really pushing forth the agenda of giving your power away, giving your attention away, your resources away to a person outside of you. And so, that sort of celebrity worship, I mean, that is part of the mind cage, because you've got these projections of who you think these people are, what they represent, and what they represent for you. That somehow, if you're in that club, that cult, you can be, just make yourself bigger. Your perceived value will be higher. It's crazy, and of course, you look at some of the things on social media regarding celebrity worship. I mean, it's just amazing. People, I've got the skin cream, and all of a sudden the skin cream flies off the shelf because people are like, wow, if I look like that,
they should get Dorian Green's.
Yeah, that's what I say. She's got amazing oils.
Over there.
But that's part of it. That's part of the hijacking of mind control with Hollywood and with anything else, where we just give our power away to these people. And we don't even think about it. We don't question it. That's crazy. Interesting. I'm looking at the chat. I'm like going, uh-oh, the bots are after us. Uh-oh.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
well, I don't know. Just real quick, because Zerilath, you are piggybacking off of my live stream, so maybe comments from people in your audience are not coming through for whatever reason, because I see it says paired on my end.
Right, the paired ones, those are coming in from my channel. Here Now Rad is a very good friend of mine, Jenny. She's got her own thing going on, and Stein is he runs the Greyhorn Pagans podcast.
Wow, cool.
His channel. He's a good dude. I'll be on his channel again at some time. No. Cool. I'm just man, I didn't think something was going to drop Tom out like hard like this, and no response, and so I don't know what's up with it.
It was the telephone booth line, I swear, man. Just kidding, but yeah, it was funny because that did get a good amount of critique in the first Matrix movie of like, Trinity, like in the beginning, she's trying to grab the phone, and there's the Asian that grabs a big dumpster truck to like run her over.
Yeah.
Things, even though they're like faster than that or whatever. I don't know. There's just like different glitches in the story of the Matrix that just really don't make sense. And so whatever the fuck, right? Yeah, that's Hollywood for you sometimes. Like just like people, why do people get hung up on like Hollywood's gonna produce the most extravagant whatever the fuck, like get
Yeah.
over it because it's
Yeah.
really few and far between. And like, what the fuck is it in the end? It's fucking entertainment. It's a cash grab for people.
Yeah.
You know, there's money involved. So what, you know, they think
Yep.
about it, bro.
Yeah.
It's a difference between what's good enough to entertain you versus like somebody really putting out their congruent, coherent like story, right? And then that just it makes the film unfold in a very different way because you know in the late 1990s that movie was probably just more supposed to be fun. There had been other films done just like it, right? Like not just like it, but like, you know, it's just like if you saw Dark City, you know, you would have been like, oh yeah, like Dark City, right? You know, so this had a very, very different impact because of the level of reference to your life and your world around you, and that point did get conveyed effectively.
Good enough, yeah. But yeah, Maria, it's cool that you know you've kind of just been off of media for the majority of your life. Like you really denounced the television and like unplugged the cables from your parents and all that shit. Like, yeah.
I did. Well, I mean, you watch your family and they're just sitting there like morons. It's like, stop it, you know? It seemed logical to me to walk around and just pull the plug. It's like, what's wrong with you people? You know, it's like losing consciousness literally in front of the boob tube. So I was always very, very skeptical of it. I'm skeptical of streaming, you know, in terms of, you know, hijacking the Netflix or something, you know, because I'm not paying for any of that shit, you know. And thank God for VPN, you know, because then you get to see the abject immorality that happens with this manipulation, you know, whether it is the producers, the directors hijacking somebody's writing, plagiarizing, stealing that, you know, just ripping it off literally from the throat chakra.
Damn, and isn't it ironic? You know, it's kind of like the Matrix, where things are getting assimilated, like the Borg, that kind of shit, the fucking Tesseract, and all that shit.
Yeah. Well, there is the singularity that everybody's talking about that's coming up. I'm going to be gone by then, y'all.
The 2045 project, that shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kurzweil and
I mean,
whatever the fuck, yeah.
You know, and this is where Elon Musk comes in, Starlink, all that kind of stuff, and people think that shit's cool. It's like, okay, good for you, you know. But the thing is, kids,
we didn't even get there yet on talking about like.
I know
we're on X right now on my channel.
Yeah, I don't do the X. Okay, I just don't do it. But the thing is, with that singularity, we're already immortal, kids. I mean, no need to fake it.
It's the fear of death that motivates all this shit.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah, what the fuck?
Absolutely.
All these computer nerds, like, what the fuck, you know? It's like they're the same type to be like, hey, I won't fuck you, but I'll build a robot that will. Like, come on, yo.
Oh,
and
dear.
They're drooling over this AI, you know, porn and whatever the fuck else is rolling down the pipelines of this sludge factory, right?
Yeah.
So, the hell?
Oh my God, that's funny.
Yeah. So fuck. Yeah. There's so many things to consider. I had a lot of questions, you know, like because you know with him it revolves around you know just like he's just like a drop in the ocean of what the fuck is going on around the whole fucking spectrum for how many fucking decades, right? With the property rights, copyrights, IPs, or whatever fuck, the plagiarism, the harvesting.
Oh yeah,
and all
it
these
just
things,
goes
you know?
on and on and on.
And it's not just a Warner from the brothers, right? And think of, you know, Big Brother or the biggest brother now with AI infused with this shit. What the fuck are we going through now?
Yeah.
Yeah, Neuralink and whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
spooky.
Yeah. I feel like his script was talking about like the real quickening, like real activations.
Yes.
Not just through, you know, pills and like the Neuralink that they had the idea and like all these things, and like the transhumanist agenda just ogles these things, right? It seems. And I've documented this through a couple hip hop mixes in the past, that technocratic static, whatever the fuck. So yeah, it's just
it's another inlet for divide and conquer, just another facet for it.
Totally.
People that are down with it, and the people like us that are like going, no, no, organic humanity, please. Because it's our minds that create.
Yeah.
Mentalism.
And we already are immortal. The body doesn't make us immortal. It is our spirit.
It does, yeah. But you take care of the body so that way it's kind of limitless per se, you know?
Yeah.
Because you're here and you can handle everything within the laws of physics or something, right? You're strong, you're fast, you can you got good lungs, good heartbeat, the whole 9 yards.
Well, I'm an old lady. I'm still here.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Hey, look, I've seen some old people that they keep it up. They don't look like they're too bad, other than the wrinkles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been trying to hear something from Tom. I don't see an email popping up explaining anything. I don't see anything on Facebook. It seems like he's just he's offline, right? So that means no mobile device or any kind of internet. I don't know if the power would have gone back out like that. It's I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But I think we may have to say that that this is we have to we'll have to figure out a future that Tom wants to come on.
Yeah.
And so how much further do we want to have a chit chat today on this?
It's up to you.
Yeah, I'm good to go for however long. I don't care.
Right.
How does the audience feel? And would you guys like to have a little...
We're vintage. Yes, we are.
Fuck yeah. I got a couple little short 1-2 minute clips I could show. And if you guys want to comment on that, we can make it a little interesting.
Yeah,
you guys have some notes, whatever the fuck.
Let's throw a clip out there so I can have a chance to think.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, just follow up on some of these comments. Yeah, for sure. And appreciate y'all trying to stay human out there. And yeah, we really got to call it how we see it. Call a spade a fucking spade at this point. And yeah, one of the things that I wanted to mention with Tom is what he was, this whole duality and what he mentioned with the architect. It seemed like with him and Neo, he was creating this false overlay of duality, in a sense, to continue his energy loose or whatever the fuck, because he had to depend on other life force energy, because he's not an eternal being like us. Even though us on the 3D level were cut off from fucking source in this realm, right? Thanks a lot, Draconian, whoever the fuck else, right? But anyways, yeah, sometimes you just want to go back into the Matrix and fall back asleep, as was well done with Brandon Martin's presentation, Deciphering the Matrix. It's just a segue into this, showing Cypher having a simulated bon appetit.
Yeah. That's man. See, my whole mindset was on questions for Tom, and then working off of some of the answers that I would have partial expectations from things he said. So
yeah,
you have to forgive me. I'm really at a stump because I put my whole head in the game.
It's all good.
Game for this.
Maybe this will give you something to work with. So maybe meeting your mics for just like a minute or so.
Yeah.
Bon appetit.
Do we have a deal, Mr. Reagan?
You know, I know this steak doesn't exist. I know that when I put it in my mouth, the Matrix is telling my brain that it is juicy and delicious. After 9 years, you know what I realize? Ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is bliss.
Do we have...
Oh,
That is good. Yeah. I like it. Yeah.
It's just that satanic mind state of just like the My Freedom movement type of thing of just like, yeah, I just got to do what I got to do to stay free and healthy in my own like limited conscious, mind state or whatever the fuck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, all about me, and me, and me.
It's the compulsion. I mean, the number one thing that they want from you is to be comfortable enough to let them fuck with the people that they want to target, right? They love the apathy. This is that. This comes with that Satanist mindset. The ones that get that knowledge that like Mark Passio talks about, but they don't care about other people, versus the difference between them and us, where we stand on that same level of seeing, but we don't abuse and exploit people, and we're trying to make them a little bit closer to enlightenment, like we're seeking to achieve.
Yeah, and we're seeking to heal as well to achieve that. As here now, Rad mentioned that's part of it being rough. Like taking whatever pill to get that awakening, whatever the fuck metaphor, right? There's some trauma included in that, in a lot of sense of just like having your whole paradigm shattered and having to like build that shit back up, that whole alchemical process, right? And people don't know the proper steps to properly get through it, right?
Yeah.
But it's something that people just gotta overcome, and we could kind of help each other out. Marja's been doing phenomenal work for decades, one-on-ones with hundreds of people.
I'm tired. I am thinking of retiring. I'm thinking of quitting all that, and guess what? Writing, painting, going back to music. I've never done this for the money, ever. It's like I feel saturated by the bombardment of the Matrix. And I know that's what Glenn and I were talking about when we were deconstructing the Matrix. It wasn't even about that effing movie. It was about owning our attention, because it's in the owning of our attention that you are awake. That's it. It's not some special fucking one-off journey that, I'm fucking awake and everything aligns and the cellulite on your ass is gone. It's like, no. It's about you owning your attention so that anything out here doesn't bother you. And if you don't like it, it's because there's something within you that is reflecting that reality. I mean, that's part of the Hermetica. And so I know that for myself, the living from those principles has been fucking key, regardless of what the fuck is going out there in the world, because it ain't my world. That is not what I'm adhering to. That is not what has my attention.
You're trans-surfing in your own proper reality. Rocking that shit.
Yeah. and I've just been at it a long time. It's like I know when I fall for shit out here, immediately chaos happens. I know y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, fucking interference and whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Well, hyperdimensional warfare.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, the loosh of them, and as above, so below, and all this, like the what is it? Not the chain of command, but the like the food chain of the parasitic, whatever
They
the fuck.
know how it works, and they know how it works.
So, yeah, sickening. It's not the bon appetit, yo. And I wasn't really feeling what Cypher was eating, but yeah.
Oh Lord. Yeah.
It was cracking. But yeah, Zerilath, feel free if you wanted to respond to any of the comments. Really appreciate the activity in the comments. Are really great. Been head nodding and all that stuff. I see y'all.
Yeah.
I feel y'all. I hear y'all.
Thanks guys for being in, participating, Jenny and Stein. The knowledge of understanding that nothing you've ever been taught is true. Right. Yeah. Right. It's traumatizing.
Absolutely.
We've been going through so much breakdown of what is not of the illusions. We've spent too much time on the illusion breakdown and not enough time on the building. This is why I was hoping to, after we talked a little bit more about the SRA side of it, was to get right down into Tom's script and be a little bit more walkthrough-ish, right? To understand all the things that make it work as not being in a virtual reality situation with programs running around all over the place, because this is a very material world thing. He was just explaining like no powers at all or something like, which that
at least the flying shit.
It completely changes what you think the action is going to be in the film. It even can sit there, make you say probably you wouldn't even need bullet time if it's like it's like that, right? But now I don't know yet.
Yeah. Yeah. It's escalating. I feel the energy is getting ramped up and up and up. There's a lot of infighting going on, as we've talked about, not only in the truther community, but in the pagan community, in the tantra community, in the hypergamy community. I mean, like, you can't make it up. It's like, my truth is truer than yours. And, it's like people just like getting up in my face. And I'm like going, ooh, okay. Yeah, okay. This is all I could do. I just do that. You don't even want to argue with that, because there's no arguing with it. It's not going to be filled with critical thinking or any good arguments. It will downgrade to name calling and commenting on the bags under my eyes. It's like, okay.
Yeah, with the bags under the eyes, it's people don't understand the the effort that we put in ways that matter, versus when you're watching people just they need to troll forever on like one effing point until you realize, oh, you're an imbecile who wants the last word. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's ridiculous.
Yep.
And that's what we try to do at Dissolving the Divide, just be like, hey, like, let's get over our shit. No one has it all figured out. That's fine. Like, let's focus on some priorities, like, actual fucking freedom. No one's loving the fact, like, $100 for a small bag of groceries or whatever the fuck's going on with that. And, yeah, whatever the clusterfuck else tangled up in the Gordian knot of society in this world, whatever, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know about that, Maria? Like, I was thinking it spelled like WHILD kind of world, that kind of stuff, but
Nice.
hinting towards, the reality, the world is not, like the planet or whatever, right?
Yeah, the world is not the planet. The world is the matrix. The planet is an essential part of the true quantum field creation field universe, of which we, as true humans, exist to create formless into form. I mean, I say this over and over and over again. We each have a unique signature for creativity, and the Matrix tells you no. Only special people do. Only people who make it to Hollywood do. It's fuck off, Ooh, sorry. Pardon my French. I'm trying not to drop the F-bomb so much. But it's so rude,
Yeah, it certainly is. I think me personally, I'm a bit out of gas now because we lost the guest. So we so I think probably we want to wrap it up here. Unfortunately, or at least I want to wrap it up. If you guys want to keep going,
Whatever's clever. I was planning on 3 hours, man, but
yeah. Well, so was I
Got some good
on the predicate of 3 hours of questions.
yeah, of
Yeah,
course,
got
yeah.
This
I
was
totally feel you, man. Yeah,
like
takes the wind out of the sails.
it completely takes the wind out of my side. I really don't know where to go right now because I've talked about Matrix theory for 20 some odd years of my life. The only reason why I was this interested in doing it again after my Matrix 4 breakdown was because this opportunity arose.
Yeah.
Otherwise my world
We'll get him back.
We'll
get him back. I hope he's okay.
Yeah, I'm sure he's great. I'm sure it's just some glitch in the Matrix.
Yeah. God knows I've been locked out of my own podcast, so shit happens.
Ha!
Yeah.
Yeah, all the time. So, it's nothing against Tom. It's just glitches, whatever the fuck.
No, of course. No idea. No idea.
Yeah.
So, you guys want to keep going over here? I'll bow out.
I'll go.
Yeah. You guys rock and roll. I think I gotta go and give myself a think. All right.
Okay, darling.
No worries, brother.
Yeah, I will catch you guys soon. How do I? Oh, there's the leave button. All right.
Ciao, bello.
So I will catch you. I feel like I should almost stick around and let the live stream continue to happen because it's on my YouTube and my X.
Shit.
Just leaving me. So you know what? I'll stick around off camera just to keep it in the stream.
I appreciate that, yo. Totally. Mario, I want to share something that's really funny.
Okay.
Maybe you saw it already, but it's just another little 2-minute thing because I got the old. Some people are like speaking French up in here, and they might want to decipher what the good old Merovingian was talking about. Did you see Matrix 4, by the way?
Which one is Matrix 4?
The Resurrections, the latest one.
Oh, this is where. Yeah, I think I did.
Okay.
I believe I did. I kind of recall it. This is where they kind of have. They're in a different reality. They have the amnesia, so they're not like recalling.
Yeah. And they're drinking simi lattes all the day long. Like.
Oh man.
But I was looking to showcase Mark Passio's. He did 2 podcasts on deciphering the decoding, if you will, the Matrix 4, and it was really brilliant. But anyways, this is not as brilliant, but more funny. But I'll decipher
right,
this.
down.
Yeah.
Predictable as ever. I found some old acquaintances of yours.
You? Oh, it is you! Après all these years, I can't believe it. Oh, God. You stole my life! Chante ta grand-mère la pute! Je vais baiser tes ancêtres et mon fils de pute!
What the Merv is trying to say is that their situation is a little bit like mine. To have their lives back, yours has to end.
Suck my silky ass thing! We had grace. We had style, we had conversation. Not this beep, 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 beep. Art, films, books, they were all better. Originality mattered. You gave us space to suck and couch flicks, criminy wiki peasant shit!
Nice one.
Thanks. This is not over yet. I will sequel franchise spin-off. Putain de connard d'enculé de ta mère, elle est bête! Films, books, they were all better. Originality mattered. You gave us space to suck and couch flicks, criminy wiki peasant shit!
Nom de Dieu, de putain de bordel de merde, de saloperie, de connard d'enculé de ta mère. It's like wiping your ass with silk. I love it.
You ruined every suck my silky ass thing!
Oh shit! I haven't seen that in a while, but
oh my God.
Nom de Dieu, de putain de merde, de saloperie, connard, de nicta, n'importe quoi. I deciphered that already, but yeah, like it's like wiping your ass with silk, and then in the last movie, it's like suck my silky ass thing. He's living in nostalgic times, you know.
Right. And then I think in the first one, he's got to take a piss, or is that in the second one? I can't remember. Oh my God.
The first
so
one
fucking funny.
To take a piss, but he was actually getting head at the head.
Yes. Oh, that's right. That's right.
Anyways.
Oh my God. Yes.
But, fuck. So you know that character and that archetype, right? He's like that, you know, the dark occultist trying to like, and just like the name Merovingian, you know what's up with that shit. So.
Yes. Associated with the Mary line, the Jesus's mama. We all go there. It's like, I don't even want to go there. More divide and conquer, more Christian bullshit. Yes. All that.
Yo, what's cracking? Good to see you, man.
A piss in the abyss.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man.
It's got some cool jingles, too, yeah. Fuck. So, anything on your mind? Because I know, just, you know, you speak so much about the Matrix and like, obviously, just to ask you questions to your work and stuff, like, when you speak about the Matrix, for people listening, what is that? What do you vision in your, what is that about? What is that?
It has zero to do with the movie. The movie is a great metaphor for the hijacking of human creativity, and it particularly with Tom's story and his experience, because it's so egregiously evil what has happened to him, and the collectivism of the fuckery. I mean, you talk about a controlled effort to fuck with someone over the course of 3 decades, over 3 decades, and to affect someone's life so much so that it's not just about stealing and plagiarism. It's about murder. It's about, I mean, I can't wrap my mind around it. However, if I stick myself in the Matrix for a moment, not the movie, but the world, which is perception managed, and that's what the Matrix is. It is the perception managed universe where you don't own your attention. Whatever's out here owns your attention. Whatever's parading in front of you, and whatever is in here based often on your reactivity to the shit you don't like that's going on. And our awakened center, kids, is here. It's a center screen. It's called the center screen in transurfing reality, where you are able to witness what's out here and the shit going on in your head, and know that both those things are trying to hijack your attention so you're not here anymore and you're being manipulated. That's what it is. And so, teaching survivors of SRA and trauma-based mind control how to do that is fucking tricky, because we have been mind controlled and actually rewarded to stay asleep, to be compliant, to be part of the crowd, to be part of the echo chamber, to be a sycophant. Yes. I mean, you see it all over social media. People just agreeing with some moron says over and over and over and over again. And the moment you have a dissenting comment, or you just don't even go there, I mean, you're damned. And this is part of the divide and conquer, and that's what they want. And I mean, you just pick an ism, and there it is. There's the divide. So I like what you and Leslie are endeavoring to do. I remember when, we were having a discussion in my dining room about what you guys were going to call the podcast. And, that was just like so good, because you two were having a discussion about, okay, well, how can this be, how can this encapsulate the intention of this creative endeavor, this partnership with Leslie, right? So, I mean, and this is what we need, kids. We need to be able to, get unstuck from those layers and just come forth unimpeded, unencumbered, unveiled,
Just have a conversation, It's kind of low stakes if you, remove your bullshit ego aside or whatever the fuck, and some other stuff. But
yeah. Unfortunately, people want, they want numbers, they want a crowd, they want to be right, they want to throw people under the bus, they want to act like they have carte blanche over reality. It's like, nah, I have carte blanche over my reality, and you do. I can't create in your reality. And I think that's key in letting people know how reality works. You can't create in anybody's reality.
And for the
we're having an intersection right now. You and I, our realities are intersecting.
Right, and I guess that's even more so. It's like, I always have the word convoluted in my head. I don't know why. It's like that French glitch in my mental matrix.
No, that totally makes sense.
But with relationships, how does that dynamic work with trying to co-create that reality within that partnership, I guess?
Well, exactly, because in a partnership, you have two people, two different realities that are merging together. And, it's like the Vesica Pisces. So you've got the yoni where there's an intersection. So here it is. Here is the creation field with two people. And, you got to consciously navigate that. And that's tricky because, we're programmed in mind control to be at odds with somebody else. That, if they don't agree with you 100%, or you're not on common ground, then it's like over. We have disposable relationships. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing because, there's some people that they're just naturally toxic, and you don't want to have your life hijacked by somebody who's just chronically toxic. But that's not what I'm referring to. I'm referring
naturally
to
disposable.
yeah. It's like, swipe left, swipe right. However it is on those dating sites, I'm not sure. I've heard about it. It's like, wow, okay, But we need to learn to coexist. What was that?
I was gonna say just real, cheeky, right? Some get trigger happy, but some get swipe happy, or both.
Yes.
People get creative with that shit. It's like, wow, okay, like,
yeah,
whatever.
And the trigger happy stuff, I think, is important to navigate, but it's tricky. And in the Matrix, trigger happy is, it is weaponized woundology as far as I'm concerned.
Extra loose for them with that energy and fucking whatever.
Exactly. And it's an excuse to be an abusive asshole, or to remain an ignorant asshole and blame everybody for your stuff. That doesn't work either. It's crazy.
Yeah. Tailing off on what I just said, I had an image in my mind of just, like thinking about, you've seen the memes of like these draconian lords and like over, hugging the earth and just like, sucking up that sweet, sweet loosh.
Yeah.
They can't even, they have to put a funnel to the mouth or whatever the fuck, right?
Yeah.
Going off of what you just said, like it's so easy for them to just, stir the pot, even just like a little quarter turn of the fucking spoon, a little ripple in the water, and there's like a frenzy of whatever the fuck, and like people gotta size people up or whatever, and like research and whatever and all this stuff, and it's like, so all they have to do is do one little thing and it self-automates itself afterwards.
No, it's quite frightening, and I have been in the middle of that kind of hornet's nest shit, and I'm just like going, holy shit, man. Y'all just must be bored off your asses to do that kind of stuff. And that's where I just switch off. It's like, what? There's no point. Yeah. I mean, it's kooky. It's kooky, but these people want to feed. They want to feed. It's relevant. It makes things relevant. They just want to feed. They feel good about themselves because, I just put her down.
I haven't really put this into the formula of this observation all that much. It's just like the wording of it, but like confirmation bias, right?
Mm-hmm.
How much is that playing into people's, like in like the polarity of things, of how people are polarized and like whatever the fuck.
It's feeding it. It's feeding that polarization to the max, And then you have these, it becomes cultish in many, many ways because you're either one of us, you're one of them. It's like, okay, I stand alone, bitches. Fuck off. I mean, that's usually my answer. It's like, I don't belong to a club. I belong to myself.
What do you say all the time? I'm just staying in my own lane,
That's right. I'm staying in my own lane.
Don't mind me. I'm doing my own thing. I've been doing it before you might have been born. So just chill,
probably.
yo. Like, what the fuck, yo? Like, straight up.
Even before your mama was born. I mean, you know, and that's usually the case.
Wow. Jeez. And that's just sad, you know, like I've kind of like joked around this and, you know, being pissed off because I've seen some things, flashes of it, but I didn't know it was that bad, even at these like more higher levels of, you know, consciousness, or, you know, folks trying to do like, you know, next level path work or whatever the fuck, getting into mentorship, you know, initiations, whatever people want to fucking call it or label it, right?
Yeah.
Because people get hung up on that, apparently.
Yeah. Well, and you don't need initiations. Nobody needs to be initiated into anything. I mean, this is what I'm hearing in some of the circles of these people that are just critical of what other people are doing that they know nothing about. And I'm just like, you know what? Shut the F up. Just shut up. Go back to your little cave. Go back to your hole. Go back to your group. You know, it fucks with me in such a big way. And it's one of the disappointing things that I'm noticing on the Facebook. And you know, I've had a good run on Facebook where I haven't been barred. I haven't been deleted. You know, the last time I was deleted was in 2017. So it's like, wow, man, I've had a good fucking run. But it's like, I have to use a third-party app now, because the moment I'm on, I get inundated. People send me screenshots of what other people are saying about me. And I'm just like, wow, you know, dudes, really? Why? Why though? It's weird. It's just weird. It's like, why are you so concerned about what the fuck I'm doing? Why do you care? I just don't know, you know, but it's like, okay, you've blocked me, so you've got your spies watching me. It's like, good. It's nice to know I'm a topic of conversation. It's so stupid. It's really kind of freaky, you know. It's like, wow, people, I don't understand.
Neither do I. Cheers, Jerry. What's cracking, man? Hope you survived the hurricane. He's out in the Yucatan Peninsula.
Aha!
Part of them One Great Work Warriors. Yeah. So.
Yay! Yay!
But yeah. So.
Yeah. Otherwise, life is about creativity. It's about self-expression. It's about, you know, doing the things that bring us joy, that lights us up.
Yeah. So I guess, you know, what I was trying to get at, you know, even on these higher levels, I'm shocked about the, you know, level of infighting and all these things. And it's like, damn, I thought, you know, all these like-minded people, and like, but no, like there's like these echo chambers that are creating negative tensions between like micro echo chambers within other stuff of, you know, we're all like-minded people because we're down with natural law, right? But this and that. But no, apparently not everyone's integrating this shit or fucking, you know, lives by this shit. Yeah. A lot of people talking about truth of whatever fucking level, whatever, you know, barrier of the veils they've conquered, you know, are they walking the talk? And like, we have to hold ourselves accountable on a daily fucking basis. Kind of like the whole alchemical process. It's like a lifelong journey, and you just
is. It's not a one-off, one and done, kids.
Burn, baby, burn, like Athenor style, yo. What's up?
Oh my god! Because I know that for myself, you know, I have to check myself constantly. You know, I have certain things down. But, you know, I've got my little buttons that can get pushed. And I am an instant asshole. And I'm instantly sound asleep at the wheel. And it's chaos. And then I got to pull my head out of my ass. You know, you hear the pop. It's like, oh, fuck. You know, I did it again. And you readjust. But what's great about the you know, my layer of the universe is that once I see what the hell I'm doing in my misalignment, and I just tweak it and get back to center, everything is rosy and happy and groovy, you know, and I'm in that flow, you know. But the moment I get hijacked by something that I don't like or it's not going my way, and I identify it with it, I say I am that fucking shit, it's over momentarily until I'm able to snap out of it, see myself, see reality, and exit that matrix, because that's kind of what happens.
Yeah, totally. And I'm sure it's just like part of it, and it means more, but you know, like being in that center screen, it's, in layman's terms, we could say it's like being in the moment, just like being present, be here now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like hear the hearts with the ears.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
they're all
the first eye, the heart. It's that identifying the I am divine love, and not to identify with appearances, because that's the whole thing with the Matrix. The Matrix is all about appearances and saying I am to those appearances, giving your energy to that and freaking the fuck out about it. And it's easy to do, you know, or freaking the fuck about it here quietly in your head where you're sitting there and, you know, that mind effery is not a good time. It's never a good time for me. If I'm overthinking things, wow, that is just, it's not good. It's not fun.
Fuck, I hear
it's
you.
a drag. Yeah.
It's a long train of thought that's dragging you along the tracks.
And that's what it's doing. And that's an excellent way to like illustrate what it means to be to have your reality hijacked in such a way where, you know, it's a loose train. You're out of control. And how do you get back in charge? You know, you got to be still enough to see what's happening, to feel it, to notice that your attention is not yours. You don't own your attention. And so that's what a lot of Glenn and I talked about, you know.
Yeah, totally. If anyone wants to watch that, you know, Love, Truth, and Beauty, her channel, Glenn Trem, sorry, the One Great Work Experience.
Yes.
Which
Glenn is awesome. Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Trilingual, at least.
Yes, very much so. Yeah, it was fun. It was really, really lots of fun.
Yeah. Oh, real quick, because I know you're such an eclectic musician and and all that. Ozzy Osbourne, what's up with that? Running on a train, crazy train. Like that came to mind. Can you glean anything off that song of what you just talked about?
Not really.
Okay, never mind then.
Not really. I mean, I appreciate him. Definitely appreciate him because I'm an old school rocker. But
word.
You know, at the same time, I think a lot of his character, or he's just a caricature to me that I just mostly want to laugh. And I'm not coming down on him. I mean, he just brings laughter to my reality. My layer of the universe wants to laugh when he is brought up, you know.
Likewise, yo.
Right? Yeah.
Going back to this last comment. Yeah, Theo, you felt that for sure. But I can't go back to who I was yesterday because I was a different person. And,
absolutely. Right on.
Yeah, Marja, as far as like the alchemical process and on a cellular level and how it's just regenerating all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's going through the death and rebirth and all these things, the cycle on a daily fucking basis.
Constantly.
You know, that's, yeah.
And, so like, and that is one of our superpowers.
Right?
Because if you don't like who you are right now, you can make a different choice.
Epigenetics.
Change your mindset. You know, change your mindset. That's what you got to do. You got to change your mindset. You have to think properly. That's what it's about, thinking properly. A lot of people don't want to think, which is why, you know, they do shit to go below the ability to think and just want to kind of like drone on. And, you know, that's all Matrix programming. Let's just party. Let's just party hardy. You know, I got to say, you know, when I was younger, there was a blip in time where I was a party girl. Okay. What I didn't like about it was the next day, because I'm a creative person, I'm really, really active. I don't want to wake up in the morning and feel like fucking shit because of substances that I had partaken in the night before because I was being a dumbass. And to me, that's what you are. You're a fucking dumbass. You have no respect for yourself. You have no respect for your creative energy. And, you know, call me a hag for that. I don't care. I really don't care. But I know people who are still doing the same partying thing that they were doing in high school. And mind you, we're going 50 fucking years at this point. And it's like, they haven't changed and they look like shit. They look like hell. And the relationships are hell. It's sad. It's just so sad. But I know plenty of those people. In every generation, whether you're a boomer, a Gen Xer, a millennial, you know, Gen Y, Gen Z. I mean, you know, it happens. It's apathy. It is apathy. You don't want to bust a move. So you're just going to kind of sit there and just nobody home. Let the matrix define you.
Yeah, and let it entertain you, because people can't get enough entertainment. Even, you know, people watching The Matrix, there's so many people critiquing it like, oh, like there wasn't enough action, or the action was whack, or it was too overdone or oversaturated. And blah,
yeah, they're
blah,
spectators.
Like, whatever.
They are spectators.
Yeah, like,
they are not transmitters. They're merely receivers and getting saturated. And here's the thing, kids. You keep on that receiving and you're not transmitting, you're aging your ass like that, because you're not being discerning what it is that you are receiving, and
you're not working it. Like,
and it's a low
get
vibe.
That body moving, like the circulation, all that stuff, the blood. What are we doing? Our blood is pumping through our, you know, all the stuff, like being active and all this stuff. It's great. That mind, body, spirit.
It's a low vibe. It's a total low vibe. And when you want a low vibe, your cells are going to be a low vibe. That's not pretty. You know, which is why in the Matrix, there's so much cash being thrown at all these artificial substances and these various tools, surgeries to, you know, tighten things up here and there. It's like, oh, Lord. Okay.
Madonna.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed in her because, you know, I absolutely adored her back in the day. And I figured that she was going to be one of those people that was going to be, you know, a role model for us ladies. She's a year older than me. So I'm just like, girl, what did you do? Why? Like, I don't get it.
Damn,
Yeah, there's no way I'm going under the knife. I don't like needles. I don't like, in fact, you know, when Botox first came out back in the early 2000s, I was invited to a Botox party.
Oh, shit.
I thought it was a CD release party for a band.
Oh, hell no. Fuck.
Oh, yeah, I did.
It was sponsored by Botox or what?
And when I arrived, I mean, it's no wonder they asked you to bring your checkbook, because it was 3 treatments for $750 to make you holla. So this was in like what, 2002, 2003. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, now get away from me. I don't want needles in my face. And I was what, 40, 42, 43 at that time. It's like, no. Castor oil, kids. That's it.
Fuck yeah. And you rock that coconut oil too, right?
I do. I make a mix of the castor oil and coconut oil and sesame seed oil. And I've been slathering it on my face and on my skin since I was 12.
Damn, yo.
Yeah. Yeah. You kind of smell like a salad sometimes, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's so funny. Yeah.
I wanted to rewind real quick, going back to like the, people being in just passive, you know, and being entertained mode and all this stuff. All that aside, you know, like what I wanted to ask Tom was, the fact that his script was too smart for even the executives at Warner Brothers or Sisters or whoever the fuck. The fact that, because you've read the Behold a Pale Horse and of Bill William Cooper, and he's, infamous of saying, like the controllers of the Matrix, or this reality, if you will, right? They want media dumbed down to like a 6th or 8th grade level.
Yep, 5th grade.
So yeah, it's like so I'm thinking about that, and like even if like the record executives, movie rather, or producers or whoever, we would think these people are smart. Yet they were brought up on, the programs, in a different flavor and intensity as we were, Generation X, what I'm in and whatever.
Yeah, I'm on the cusp of Boomer and Gen X. It's like what? Yeah,
Gen X seems to be like a huge window.
It was
too creative back in the day. Like what the hell?
1959, 1960. That is the cusp of Boomer and Gen X. 59, late 59. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? That is some crazy shit. Yes, I love hemp oil. Hemp oil is really relaxing for, I think, like doing lymphatic drainage massage. I've got to do that video. I've got to make that video on the lymphatic.
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. That was one of the things that I wanted to do while you were, while you were living with me.
Oh, cool.
That would have been fun.
Yeah.
But
fuck yeah.
Just whoops.
Hey, like.
Oopsie.
We had so much fun thrifting and all the other.
I know that was really good. And Desert Fog. I had some Desert Fog not that long ago. It was very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the beer. So that's one of the things that I learned with you is like enjoying beer, which is a relaxant,
Yeah, a little bit. I try not to let it, impede my, workflow and all that stuff. It sucks because it's a dangerous substance, because sometimes once it hits your lips and all that stuff, and we've had numerous discussions about functional alcoholics and all that stuff, and like the European way of things, and being out here.
And I used to live in Europe. I used to live in Europe, so I know what that is. I mean, my hosts in Arezzo, like they would start drinking at like 3:30, 4 o'clock. Holy moly. And it would go on till 2 a.m. every single day.
That's
every single day. And they were great. They were great. I mean, mind you, I really didn't appreciate, one of my hosts showing up naked at my door, because she couldn't find her way back. Like, okay. Yeah. Fabiola. Hail Fabiola. Fabiola's fantastic, actually. Although she did wreck the Beamer. I taught her how to drive a stick.
Was she American or?
No.
Oh, okay. Huh.
No, she was a 50-something, Italian that had never driven before.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, a manual transmission,
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that was fun.
Damn.
Yeah. But see, that's part of the enjoyment of it, right? The enjoyment of life, because there's too many people where it's just too black and white. You can't eat meat and you can't do this. You can't have caffeine. You can only have mushroom coffee. You can't have this, but you can have that. And it's like, oh, stop it. Yeah. That sort of polarized black and white kind of thing, that if we don't adhere to these things, then we're evil mofos.
Yeah, and people are kind of suffering as well, trying to like fit into these, rigid molds or whatever the fuck. I want to call it a trend sometimes, but with certain things, obviously you can see, what the Matrix has to offer with, the daily scroll of what's being, advertised on Face Crook.
Right. And here's the thing. And I realized I didn't mention this earlier, and I should have. you know, the Matrix can be our friend. You have to learn how to waltz in and out of it. And what is waltzing in and out of the Matrix is your awareness, your consciousness. Not your body, it's your consciousness. So all of these wars, all of the hijacking is your consciousness. It is your focused attention. That's another way to describe your consciousness. So, you know, whatever you decide, then what you got to do is you've got to decide consciously which route, what choices you're going to make. And if people are going to judge you, fuck them. Who cares? We have to stop caring what other people think. We don't care what the peanut gallery thinks. We don't care what the Furies think, what the totalitarian mob thinks, you know, because we always talk about the mob, the totalitarian mob, as a bunch of crazy woke leftists. No, they're in all our communities. They're in the truther communities, the pagan communities, the tantra communities, the feminine entrepreneur communities. You know, there is that polarization of who's better than whom. I mean, it's so dumb. And people can't see that they're just repeating, you know, they can't see it.
What's repeating? Patterns? That seems to permeate through any place these days. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, correspondence. Look at that. Look at that stuff. The frequencies that you are emitting. The cause and effect. There's cause and effect, you know. It's like, come on, people. Snap out of it.
Right, and like, yeah, as far as like waltzing in out of the Matrix and like really having that proper self-ownership and, you know, walking around like you're a sovereign being.
Yeah.
You know, you got that neo cortex awakened, right?
Yes.
And then some, right?
Yeah, left, right brain synchronicity right there. Synchronicious, as you would say.
Yeah. Spiritually
like
delicious, yeah.
That's right. That's right. You know. And I think that's part of the delight in being human, is that we can change our mind. Hi, Harriet. Hi, darling.
Hey.
Aw, my
yeah,
girl.
She knows what's up. She works for Hermetica.
Yeah, she does. Yeah.
Talks about it for sure.
Yeah. Because, you know, we all have our various stories, and those stories do not define us. You know, they don't define who we are. They can define where we've been and some of the challenges, you know. So, but to I am to the victim. I am to, you know, my unhappy childhood, my whatever it is. I mean, you know, pick one. And, you know, there's misery to be derived from those identifications. And I think that's part of what I endeavor to, you know, cut and download to people, is that, okay, what are you I-aming to at this very, very moment? Right? And so that's always one of the first questions that I ask people, you know, is, what are you saying I am to? Because that answer is either going to uplift you and allow you to rise, or it'll fuck you up and take you down. And that's what the Matrix wants. The Matrix doesn't want us to rise, you know. And any kind of rising that we do, that is at the helm of the Matrix in terms of whatever little carrot they're dangling to us, you know, we're usually pretty compromised with that. There's a cost to a lot of this stuff. That's right, Theo. I am love. I am love.
Agape, mother lovers.
Yes. Yeah, I like it.
Much love,
I
y'all.
like it.
Reals. Yeah.
You know, I like that Marksman talking about agape. You know, it's a good reminder, because that is the higher realm of of love. And we're not talking romantic love, you know. So, yeah. It's good. What time is it over? Are you 8 hours ahead of me? I think you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Now I'm thinking about clever little things with the Matrix. I'm sure, you know, there's so many little. I mean, you just mentioned it before, but yeah, the metaphors and all that, and what else do you see about that we haven't really touched upon that, you know, you've highlighted in your works? And
Well, I was really happy to, you know, I mean, just the very brief time that we spent with Tom, that he, you know, he understood the frequency of the color blue. And you know, I was really happy to convey that distortion between the blue pill and the red pill.
Yeah, that was
you know, I mean, the color blue is the color of the throat chakra. This is truth.
Above the heart, that's activated.
Above the heart, that's activated. Absolutely. And then when that comes down into the body, it activates it with love, you know. And the third eye is indigo blue. So it's like, come on, people. And of course, in the Matrix, we only have 5 senses. There's the 7 senses don't exist in the Matrix because they've poo-pooed our intuition. There's no such thing as the third eye. And our generosity and care, which is our 7th sense. And, you know, that's the infusion of the true divine love spirit that we are in a body. It's like, oh my God, you know. So I can never figure that out, you know. And here's my experience. Lord, forgive me. Lord, and I'm not talking Jesus. I'm talking Lord, Lordy. And I have a comic thing about that. I won't get into it. It's a private joke. It's sexual too. So all my experiences in these red pill communities have been absolute fucking shit shows. Absolute fucking shit shows where the leader of the group was outed as an NSP, a narcissist, sociopath, psychopath of the highest degree, my way or the highway. It's like, okay, Dick, good for you. And that has been my experience. And I think it really is, because it is a hijacking of truth. It's an inversion of what it actually is, what it actually was intended to be. Thank you, Tom Althouse.
Yeah, real talk.
Seriously.
What you just mentioned, you were describing someone that it seemed like, you know, he had that like gatekeeper energy or archetype type.
Absolute gatekeeper energy, where the narrative was being controlled, obviously. And, you know, I'm not an agreement whore. So if I don't agree with you, I will say so. I'm not going to make you wrong. I'm not going to hate on you. I mean, it's like my partner and I, we disagree on shit every fucking day. But that doesn't mean I'm the enemy or he's the enemy. It's called working it out. It's called having conversations, having an understanding, being, having the ability to agree to disagree and move on, you know. But that's what it is. It's controlling information, controlling the flow of information. Sorry. You know, and to do that categorically. I mean, you know, I have seen some of these bullet point presentations on some of these private Facebook groups about the rules and regulations about, you're going to be in this group, you know, here are our mandates here. I'm like, whoa, you know, I can't even agree to it, because it's like, yeah, no, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be a yes person. I'm not going to be your sycophant. I'm not going to be one of your flying monkey yes people. Not going to happen. I'm not wired for that shit. You know, I want to ask questions because a lot of the times when I don't agree with people, it's usually because I don't understand what the fuck they're talking about. Or I just see that they don't know what they're talking about. It could be either one. Doesn't matter, you know. But I want to have the freedom to be able to ask, can you go deeper in that? And, you know, what do you mean by that?
Without getting, you know, verbally lambasted or, you know, just scrutinized and having the flying monkeys, you know, flock in your direction for whatever the right? Like, what the fuck, right?
Yeah, I know. And those flying monkeys, you know, it's like, it reminds me of the Wizard of Oz when the flying monkey, you know, it's like, ah, holy moly. Yeah. And then when that happens, I literally have to engage energy kung fu mastery and just get out of the freaking way or raise my frequency such that, you know, whatever they project, you know, it just bounces off or it ricochets and boomerangs back to them, you know. It's crazy. But that's how controlled the Matrix is. And, you know, I mean, we've had these conversations where, you know, the shit that goes on YouTube, the shit that goes on Facebook or the Instagram, you know, it's so ridiculous. I mean, I just want to, like I said, and I've said this before, I've learned to roll my eyes without moving them. Because people just get crazy. They get fucking crazy and irate about you having an original thought or a view that doesn't conform to what it is that they want. And, you know, if you're part of this group, then you must agree with everything. And if you don't, we have our ways of doing things. You know, it's like, back off.
While in the background, your third eye is rolling hard.
Yeah. Woo! Yeah.
Fucking hell yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. So, you know, I know for me, it gets frustrating, you know, because
for sure. You've seen the Dunning-Kruger effect happen across the board of like how many people of like how many things that they've, you know, stated and claimed and that at this level or that, you know, quality consciousness, but and that's not, it sucks because, you know, we want to hold people large, but, you know, they fail to hold themselves up. Right?
No, they don't even know what that means, holding them large. So I love those presentations that Mark did recently because I was just howling. I'm going, dude, I fucking get it. I get it. You know, people are reaching out to me going, what's wrong with Mark? What's wrong with Mark? It's like, dude, I don't talk to him every day. Like, what's your deal? Like, I'm not in his personal circle, just like he's not in mine. We're both busy doing our thing. And I absolutely agree with him, you know. And I also have softened a little bit. I mean, there was a time where it's like, you know, fuck you. I'm not going to be nice. But, you know, I'm a lot nicer. I've been a lot nicer the last 10 years than I've ever been. But, you know, I'm with him. It's like people are more offended by our delivery than they are by the fucking evil that runs the place. And that bothers me. That really bothers me. It's like, oh, you wanted to be, like Mark says, flowery. It's like, okay. Yeah. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's an interesting thing. So, you know, we all got to face things and, you know, we just make the choice to do it. And it doesn't mean people are going to be cooperative and you got to be ready for that.
Yeah. How naive I used to be thinking like, hey, we're on this awakening journey and people are, you know, just embodying that truth and like the non-aggression principle and the self-defense principle like properly, and they like live that within their heart and that kind of stuff. And wow, I was so wrong, like, yeah, it was really quite
It's
a
rude.
shocker.
It's so rude. It's so rude to have people
Let's go, Zilla.
in communities that you thought had your back, and all of a sudden you get the screenshots of what they're actually calling you, what they actually think about you. And it's like, wow, okay, thanks. I think I need a shower now. Hi, Zerilath.
Hi, I'm back.
Hi, darling.
I had to clear my head. It's just like, I have an embarrassing amount of mental block now that I don't have Tom to talk to.
Aw, that's all right.
Like, all right, what's gonna happen? All right, Derek's gonna bail all this out if they want to keep going.
Yeah, you got your friends with you.
Yeah.
Have you back.
Yeah. Like what you were just talking about, that principle, because that's a principle in the Matrix film. Neo, Trinity, Morpheus got that big dream of waking everybody up or whatever, and unfortunately the film, because it doesn't have that human side of it, that family side of it in conscious mind, it doesn't have a story that has that element. It's all just you gotta go blow up the big bad guy's thingamajiggy and then force people to no longer have the dependency on the system, which would actually be horribly catastrophic because you're basically leaving the profane to their own devices, and when you're on that level of darkness, the Matrix serves its basic functions that is what we're against, right? The government is slavery, all cops are bad cops in a cult, so on and so forth. But when you look at the unconscious masses' behavior towards each other, they let themselves onto that, and that's with the various dependencies. It's this, and we walk this fine line because this is the line, right? Like Mark talks about this, and it's the difference between the truly conscious and what the Satanists do, where the Satanist wants to destroy, exploit, abuse you, or whatever towards all of that personal gain as long as they don't know you personally, right? They got all those codes of conduct that Anton LaVey decked out, but like if you're nothing to a Satanist, you're just dead meat, right? That's not the way we see people that are technically nothing to us, because we still have the unconditional love of the higher force.
Right.
That's that's a big difference, right?
Yeah.
And it's getting people that it's like what we talked about in our recent conversation, Maria. If you haven't been on my channel recently, I had Maria on, and we were talking about the Althouse interview at the end of that. And we're talking about these this subject matter of like the other side of it, because there's the people that wake up. And then there's the people that they're now under knowledge of being awakened, and they're making very poor choices.
Yeah.
Right.
There's tremendous responsibility in being conscious and self-aware. You don't get to backtrack. And when you do, there's an immediate pushback. I call it cosmic bitch slap that comes for you because you've crossed over that line and you're doing things that are actually harmful to yourself, which is not in accordance to natural law. And that's that self-responsibility that once you know better and you know how things work, and you make choices that are like lazy or harmful to yourself or other people or whatnot, yep, there's a price to pay. And I think that's a good thing. Because we learn through contrast. Contrast. Sorry.
Contrast. Yes, that is correct. Working with those things, like I've lived a life, like in my astrology chart, in my Vedic, right? I got Uranus in Libra in my ascendant, so over time I picked up these patterns, right? And so one of the things I'm mastering are the extremes. You know, I overreached, I underreached, I hit too hard, I hit too soft, right? I speak too quiet, I speak too loud, right? I'm very, very, very like cautious, or I'm a bull in a china shop, right?
I feel you.
I've gone through these extremes at the randomized impulse of the uranic energies. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So, those are some of the many things where it's just like I can sit there and say, like, yeah, I can do this. Wow, I didn't do enough of it. Oh, I did too much of it. Now everybody hates me. Right? This has been one of my struggles in the balance.
Mm-hmm. That's intense. Yeah, I know that Uranus thing. I've got Chiron in Aquarius in the first house, opposing Uranus and Leo in the 7th house. Bing, bing, bing. And it's just like, oh, whoa, okay. Can we just be nauseous right now? Let's just stop. And active stillness, which is the passive of the divine masculine energies of taking action.
Yeah.
Has served me well, because I was always having the knee-jerk reaction of wanting to balance things out. I've got Mars in Libra.
Yeah.
In the what, 9th house, 10th house, and it's like, shit, man.
Yeah.
So you learned. I mean, this is part of the contrasting experiences that we have, where it's like, oh shit, okay, that doesn't work. That's gonna like create drama in your life. Maybe you shouldn't do that.
Yeah. Right. And as a guy, the reverse principle is getting more capable of acting on your ability, or perhaps it's a reacting, because it's part of that feminine, the yin side for a man.
Yes.
Right, of care, right?
Yeah.
The care principle. Because men can be a bit cold and careless and leave all the crying and the hugging to the women, right? And I kind of grew up as neither that, but at the same time, the bull in the china shop tendencies, I had to have that pay attention because you're being inconsiderate to people around you, kind of like
okay,
a whole lot. It's just like in hindsight, I think I was just supposed to go through berserker initiation, so I had a mentor keep me in check, but
cool.
It's going to be temper tantrums instead.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting, because my upbringing, I'm a touchy-feely kind of girl, but that has been over the course of, when I was in my 20s and raising children. And recently, I've been diagnosed as being autistic at age 62, 63. It's like, so it makes a lot of sense, because I would get overly sort of stimulated. So I had a lot of stimming things. I had a Trun spoon, this wooden spoon. I hit the end of the bed for any time I was stressed enough to wear out the wooden spoon and create a divot in my mattress in the home that I grew up in. But that being said, it's like, these are learned skills that I'm learning as a woman, that it is okay to run both masculine and feminine energies. It's okay to be touchy-feely, but you have to be discerning with that touchy-feely. You don't want to be touchy-feely with people that are going to, sit there and vampirize you or exploit you in whatever kind of way. So I think it's helpful in whatever initiations that we go through, that we learn our cosmic codes, our star codes, our blood codes, and understand what that is. Understand natty law, for instance. Understand how to work natty law and to work the Hermetic principles in all the challenges that arise over the course of our lives. And, I think that's part of the great work. That's part of doing the shadow work. And, as a woman, I've mostly been in my masculine because that's what I had to do in order to mask my vulnerability in terms of my complex PTSD, my trauma, and my child abuse, and also mask my vulnerability as an autistic little girl where, in the 60s, they didn't have a language for that. Autism was like relegated to boys. And so the way I was acting, like, let's put her in electroshock, let's do that. And so, that's a whole other reality to try to navigate and try to, apply the law of correspondence to those experiences so that you can up-level your way of being and your way of thinking about yourself and changing that, the self-talk.
Right.
And I think that is a journey that each one of us has to do. I think that's a lot of part of the shadow work, is to change our self-talk about ourselves, in order to allow it to be in alignment with natural law, in alignment to the principles, and in alignment to our divine, loving, natural spirit of who and what we really, really are. In and out of the matrix.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, and I feel like when we cross those thresholds, I mean, like, I like to call it a daily operation as well, working with the Hermetica, working with the science of life, if you will, and natty law. But once you really get it down and like integrate that, embody it, you have a good rhythm to your life, and things can be more in that free flow. Yeah, we can't get ahead of ourselves sometimes because, like what we talked about before with, trying to work with people and like try to do the great work, spreading the messages, and then getting all this fucking flack from whatever fucking direction and whatever intersection that the Matrix be crossing our shit up in, and the hell, it's like that shit's it's already not that easy, but
there's another level of doing this that works. I think people don't want to like get involved with a hell of a lot of various different kinds of things. They may not be able to get past what they may personally not like about people because that they would have to be associated with by getting involved in certain movements and things like that. This is so like, it's such a big and complicated thing just to drill at the infrastructure of their dark control grids, right? And it's a question.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it's a question of like, when are we going to have more than just the healers and the elite tacticians, right? Because it's just like, like people like us, we're going and we're jumping as far ahead before we're done here as possible, as a mark, as trailblazers for the next generations to pick up the slack as many of these others have, right? Part of having Tom here is to inspire the next generation of writers to not fall into the traps of what kind of people they give their precious divine talent and divine mind to within the way that this world is. And it would be great to see an ability to get some people that are somewhere in between. I need a healer and I want to go jump in the front lines of the war, and have all the people that are just like in the middle of the work, wherever they need to be at, with a support structure for them wherever they're at. And maybe because this is so big, not worry about whether any of these particular people move on, just because it's been hard enough just to establish a better system to grow as this other system crumbles, because you have to hit that while people are open to certain things, because everybody needs to get on with their lives. Everybody needs to start thinking about, like, how, what they're gonna, do for their future. If they're family oriented, there's the whole idea of whether they're gonna have a family too, right? So yeah.
And each one of those choices has tremendous responsibility, tremendous self-responsibility. And I think that is what scares most people, is the level of self-responsibility, the levels of accountability when, you are navigating the pathway to more self-awareness.
Yeah, and also self-empowerment as well is what I wanted to get to. When you cross this threshold, I feel like I always want to say yeah, you got a spiritual pep in your step, but it's just more to it than that, and more powerful, of being able to really stand powerful in your space of your I am, and knowing who the fuck you really are, and being able to wield your magic for the good and for the betterment, and to have that positive ripple effect in this reality.
Yeah. That's that intentionality. The intentionality is really, it comes from the heart. It's the activation of the first eye, imbuing that energy in everything that you do. Everything that you think about, that you want to create, is imbued with that.
Does anyone want to answer the question of so where does natural law come from exactly? We have some great people that have spoken volumes on it. Mark Passio, Seth Gasposa, Manly P. Hall, Rudolf Steiner, and other people that have incorporated that throughout so many works throughout the millennia, right? And the Hermetica touches on that, of course, with the principles. And but anyone want to tackle that question? Where does these universal laws come from? The creator? Don't ask an atheist, I guess. But anyway, so
they certainly come from creator, right? But I think the real question is that how does it end up? What's the top of initiation within manifestation as it cascades down, right? Is it just a thing where creator marks it on your heart, and it's as abstractly simple as that, which usually on the most human levels of what most people need, it seems to be, right? Because every time I listened to anything talking about natural law from all the various people that I've listened to, that you've listened to, and all that stuff, it's just it's talked about as a self-evident thing that seems to just come from common sense and wisdom about aspects of we think of the golden rule as we've heard it, like the top commandments in the gospel of to have, I would rephrase it as having that love connection, that greatest, highest love connection with the higher force. And then just like you have that greatest love connection with the higher force, so too do you love other people. And then everything else, through language, you rationalize in your mind where things go, when charity applies, when other good deeds apply, and when there's unfortunate moments where you have to, intervene upon someone else's violation of the self-evident, and how the protocols for that ultimately work, because we all know that there's an unfortunate end in which natural law will allow for violence. It's not supposed to happen, but if there's a certain attempt at violation that is inherently a violent act, then you have that reciprocation, regardless of whatever person's will to do that to you is.
You're doing good. Continue.
Thank you. Just making a pause so people can interject with their thoughts. Yeah. So, I mean, like, because it's extraordinarily, like, cliche for it to be like, here I am, I'm the lone nobody who is amongst people, who gets the attention, who leads in the right example, and then everybody that was about to do something really, really savage and screw up an innocent man's life, I set it straight, or I saw the gang of thugs and I went after them and I stopped the gang of thugs from beating up the guy, or whatever, and I was able to get a full contextual observation of the situation and jump in right at the effective moment as I was placed in the choices that I have made, fated to be in that spot and have a responsibility based on my witness and my ability, right? All of these things like seem to come into play, and that's allegedly how it all like started, was like, the second a person matures into a rational mind on the level that can think like us, it's like you have that inherently written in your heart, and that's whether you're not so conscious or hyper conscious. The hyper conscious ones just have perhaps given more time to embracing the understanding of the personal experience of it for themselves, and perhaps on a philosophical quest to be able to talk about these things the way that we are.
Yeah, totally. And that's what I've been able to invite even, my family into, like, going over the truther stuff or whatever, and, just hearkening on natural law and just like, hey, this is like the philosophy, the science of life, and just how we can just like better ourselves. And yeah, there's along the way, we're going to come across a lot of fuckery just because there's a lot of people that are not aligned to natural law. And there's actually, factions that are inverting and trying to invert and pervert these laws against us.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah.
Yeah. Look at the law schools. What are they all about? They are schools for moral relativism.
Boom. Yeah.
And they're fast talking mofos.
When I mentioned Jodorowsky's Dune earlier before we lost Tom, it's just like I just recently watched The Holy Mountain for the first
my God.
Yeah.
I saw that really stoned and was really disturbed. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. I was afraid to go near it. It took me, I think, 15 years to watch it again.
I'm looking, like, I looked at that film and I could be like, I could see a time where this film would have freaked me the F out. Now I'm looking at it, it's just like, all right, this is some awesome edgelord shit, but I get the occult symbolism at the same time, so it's actually great. And like, it's more of a hysterical film in that respect, but
it's extremely chaotic and just
it's very
it's a sensory overload. It's like, strap me down. It kind of reminds me a little bit of that scene in A Clockwork Orange where the eyes are like frozen wide open, and I'm just like,
Right. It's like there's so many interesting things to extract about that. I was having a chit chat with one of my buddies who's big on the Enneagram, because the Enneagram's symbol, that 9-pointed star, is a central symbol to um, the cult or whatever they're not really a cult because it's not like it, like, he's like a wizard in his high tower, and then he's got these eight, well, there's actually these seven other people. Is it 7 or 8 other people out there in the world? Because there's him, there's his assistant, and then there's the new guy. So that's 7. Yeah. So then there's these 7 guys. It's the other planets, and so each one of them is this interpretation of the planets, which is and they're all like out there as in major roles in the world, not like leading roles in the world, but supporting roles, major supporting roles in the world. They're running companies and organizations that are connected to major movements of people, and all of them are students of the alchemist, who is the wizard in his tower. And I think they're in like Mexico, but then they go to Peru or something like that. And it's an English film, but it takes place in Mexico, right? And it kind of shows you the atheism and the Christianity as a rabble, kind of in amongst the masses in the beginning of the film, right? And then once you meet the magician in his tower, that's when it's like, okay, let's strip away all of this material nonsense. Let's strip away all of this crap that's not helping you from the religious symbolism that you're living in. The guy is tortured by Jesus because he looks like Jesus, right? And like that's an interesting subpoint, is he's trying to kill his own identity, and thus he's on the initiatory path because he doesn't want to have this Jesus thing going on, and there's the wrestle with it. And towards the end of the film,
like Neo,
he's got to throw his imaginary friend over the boat, who is based on his real friend, because that's kind of like his last anchor towards the old thinking of the old self. He cannot go, he cannot even touch the land of the mountain until he's done that and purged himself of his old programs, if you will. But all because all these guys, it's like they're all thieves. So I ended up realizing that this is a occultist's heist movie, because the whole bit is we're gonna steal immortality from these other guys who stole immortality a long time ago. I just had to find the right mountain where these guys did it, right? And so that's what carries the film forward. And he's got his 7 other guys that he's initiated are living their lives using the magic he taught them. And it's a question of, is he a puppet master in some way, shape, or form? Money doesn't matter. They burn their money in the film, right? It's just like, and in the film is just, it doesn't take the steps of the heroism. It's just taking a step of the mirror. Right? It's just the mirror of the world and its ugliness, and, good people serving within a function of it, right? It's not the film that challenges you on the level that we're talking about, but it is a film that opens you up and seems to want to bring you, at least personally, out of humanity, who you don't know if you can do it for everyone else, right?
Damn, man. That just reminds me of...
Good.
There's so many programs on top of programs of, people... they want to do good in general. I feel we're kind of predisposed to that, but
right,
due to all the conditioning, like they're led into this dark sense of care. They care about things that are actually inversions of what is actually moral, like not this moral relativistic bullshit like Mario you were talking about.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people, it's not so much that they want to do good, but they want to not do bad, right? Because, like if they can sit in that neutral place, they don't have to put the effort of doing good, and they don't have to deal with shit from other people for doing a bad thing, right? And so in that null space where, you know, the natural law takes over because you don't see anybody doing anything wrong, right? But it's like an apathetic kind of enforcement of natural law, right? Because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, if somebody was getting harassed, what's the level of consciousness where like, hey, somebody's getting harassed, you know, let's go like make, you know, let's stop that because that person was minding their own business, right? You know, maybe you save someone's life who was being stalked publicly or whatever, right? Because it's you know, the real isolating thing is when nobody wants to acknowledge that you exist except for the people that want to destroy your life. And this has been a theme in everything, right? It's like how does evil entities like Pennywise from the Stephen King story get to torment the kids, or Freddy Krueger gets to torment the kids, etc., etc.? It's because the parents and the neighbors don't give two shits.
Nope.
They didn't do anything bad. They didn't do anything good either.
Yeah. They're AWOL.
Yeah, that's right akin to that satanic apathy that we rail against here and makes the big difference.
Anyone want to tackle this question? Because, you know, honestly, like the dark occultists, they understand the Hermetica better than most people. And they're, I mean, that's what I was alluding to of how they're, you know, using these things against us. You know, that's, you know, these are just, you know, the forces that govern reality and behavior and karma and all these things, right? So, anyone want to tackle, you know, how natural law? Because, you know, Zerilath, he brought up a great point of how, just like the morality perspective, I guess, even though you can, you know, tie that into cause and effect. But yeah, I mean, like the Hermetica is definitely super integral in natural law, but you know, natural law is like an umbrella for
Right.
things,
Well,
right?
there's natural law, like the natural laws of reality itself, which can allow all manner of evil, and you know, and allows dark care, and force of will. Right. There's you know, that because that yeah, then you're talking about the Kybellion and the principles known from the alleged Hermes Trismegistus, right? As you're going through your polarities, your rhythms, your mind, and gender, and all these different facets, and that framework is going to be what all of us are going to be functioning under. But then we're also talking about natural law on a very human level. This is much more a matter of the heart. You could see, I don't even like to say it's a matter of the mind, because I don't, you know, like I've got this inner authority thing, right? It's just like I will end up doing the wrong thing to everybody in the universe, but you know, it's right to me because I sat there, and it wasn't even like an immediate, it wasn't like, oh, my heart, fuck you. It's just like, no, it's like, oh, my heart. 20 minutes later, oh, my heart still hurts. Fuck you. Then the fuck you comes out 20 minutes later, right? It's, you know, it used to be on the nose, right? And, you know, it's just one of those things, because I try not to resist my inner authority, and it's knowing the difference between that and my irrational impulses. You know, that's North Node stuff.
Mario, anything? Because you've read the Kybalion, like, you know, when you were a teenager, or not even like all that stuff. Not like we got to go over all that stuff, but yeah, anything in regards to.
Yeah, inner authority. The inner authority is anchored in the knowledge, I think, self-knowledge of who and what we really truly are. And I believe that when we know, and that inner knowing of our inner authority, that we are spirit in a body, I think that is neutral. I think that's neutral because anything else is a distortion and is based on the mind control trappings within the matrix telling us who and what we are. And we are anything but spirit, anything but divine, according to the matrix. And so I think in terms of natural law, the first eye of the heart, I always think about this, because we could go into the principles, we can go into dissecting what a right is, and do no harm, right? But I think part of all of that is really the basis of what we are I aming to. And the first I am really is who and what we really are as immortal spiritual beings. And we just happen to be in these meat suits in this reality, this very moment. That's all I got to say.
We gonna enjoy the ride or what? Like, I mean, yeah, we're under a lot of duress and slavery and financial burdens and whatever the fuck, and paying rent off of stolen lands and blah fucking blah. Yet,
oh, I know. The list
flipping
goes
that script and transurfing it properly and waltzing in and out of the matrix.
Yeah, because you can't take any of that shit with you.
Right.
Yeah. Somebody in the comments asked about belief in karma. I believe in cause and effect, but do I believe in the karmic wheel? It's like, for me, hell the fuck no. I am not coming back. That's all there is to it. This is my last life. I'm out of here. I'm finding the holes in the matrix. And everybody asks me, what does that mean? What does that mean? And Wes Penra, y'all, check out his work. I've been a Wes Penra I'm not a follower, not a fan, but I just admire his work. He's done tremendous research about the nature of reality. And, this whole matrix simulation that goes round and round and round and round and round, and the trap of the karma wheel, the trap of reincarnation. It's like, do not go to the fucking light, people. Do not re-up. You got to find the holes in the grid, which I have seen actually for myself on a normal day. You can see it. You can see the freaking grids up in the sky, man. It's like, okay, there we go. I used to think I was just, well, what? Is that an illusion? Yeah, absolutely. It is meant to elude you on purpose. So that's just my opinion. People think I'm fucking nuts, and it's like, okay, that's cool. You can think I'm nuts.
Opinion or observation, yo?
It's my observation, my reality, based on my layer of the universe. Yes, I am Westing, Theo.
Weston hard.
I am truly Westing, and I chose that name out of a freaking phone book when I was divorcing husband number 2 back in 1994. That's a tidbit. It's a true story, though. It's an absolute true story. Yeah.
Yeah.
The best of 3. Zizikoff, Abraham, or West. Yeah, West won. Hands down.
I want to, I want to know, like, you see, when it's time to transition for me, I want to be in a spot where it's just like, hey, maybe I do want to, quote, escape the matrix. I want to have a good look at everything. It's just like, okay, I'm maybe dead and that's why I'm here. All right, door number 1, back to the matrix. Door number 2, back to the source. Door number 3, second death. Door number 4, oh, there's the wheel of Sansara, etc., etc. It's just like, I think that is kind of like the most prime goal, is because, like, I love a lot of people that talk about getting out of the Matrix. So many of them are my friends, you know, awesome, amazing things they bring to the table. But then I also look at it and I'm like, you know, there's horrible anxieties here. But also, I'm just really just sitting here in my leather chair, having a good time with my friends, this fresh air, and all of my threats are existential and are too afraid to come into my field after 44 years. So maybe I've got another 44 years before the agents decide to knock down my door. So I'm going to keep going because so far they haven't shown interest and I've been effective, right? And so if that continues, why not come back? Because all of a sudden you realize, oh, you figured out how to fix this place and make it the I don't know, the Ascension Center that it's supposed to be, or whatever the interdimensional intergalactic family says Earth is supposed to be in its proper state, etc., etc.
Right on.
Yeah, proper sea planet that this, you know, solar system is supposed to have, not this, yeah, inverted, twisted, you know, distorted harmonics, you know, cutting off all of us from life force energy, or, you know, source.
Yeah.
What are we, you know, operating on like 10% of our DNA with, you know,
4% of our brain power.
Damn it.
And that 4% is based on what is visible. The rest of it is invisible.
I thought it was 10%, and that was like dismal.
Oh,
anyway.
honey, it's dismal.
Yeah.
It's dismal as fuck.
What a ripoff, yo! Like, yeah.
And so just by that, I mean the powers that have yet to be discovered and harnessed.
Yeah, and we have to find out what it really means, right? Because that's all like living, right? That's all living there with us, right? In this state of being inert, right? And it must be doing something on some level, because if it's not like in literal, like physiological atrophy, right? I mean, there's a lot of people who I've heard that like, because they don't use their minds at all, it goes into atrophy. And then there's the talk about Alzheimer's, et cetera, et cetera. And then of course, all this is perfect with Tom's understanding of how he wrote the Architect, which from his interviews, I think it's supposed to be Hitler, right? And then Hitler's on the quote Immortal program. And, you know, so like the world is like, it's futuristic Nazism behind the scenes, and all because Hitler's an immortal and he needs Neo and Smith to fight forever to keep him entertained. Right. So and he did get a chance to explain that part.
I want to hear that.
Things got cut. Right. We'll as soon as I get hold of Tom, we'll have to figure out when an appropriate.
Because Hitler was very interested in the occult sciences.
Oh yeah,
he was very interested in all of that, and had deep relations with Tibet, and I mean it just goes on from there. So I'm really curious, you know.
Oh yeah,
what he wrote about in the script. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, the that and of course that's an interesting time for what you're going to be putting in to anything that taps into esoteric Nazism, right? You know, he wrote that in '93. That's not that long after Spielberg's Last Crusade. Right. And, you know, Spielberg, of course, has his particular, you know, thing with people. You know, he's no friend of Tom's. He's part of the problem. He's in the court. He's in the court paperworks. He's because of his participation with the theft, or dealing with the theft or something like that.
Yeah.
Either way. Right. There's so many angles you can go. There's what's been already put into the Captain America / Avengers films. It's all over that. Plus, you know, a lot of people love it because it's, the Nazis are this punching bag as needed for various sides of the political.
Oh, of course, you got to blame them.
When you are in the dark and you live in that black and white world, we all saw the whole punching Nazis, Orange Man, literally Hitler, all that stuff,
which is absolutely retarded because the whole accusation of Nazis being part of the far right is bullshit. It is another arm of the far left, you moron. Sorry, not sorry, but let's clarify that.
Well, it is, but you see, that's the crazy thing about how times have changed, though, right? Because the Nazis, they like the left is not interested in the Ubermensch. They're interested in a fat mensch, right? Right? They don't want super soldier alpha males. Well, they do, but they want them to be fucking like robots because they can't find any men.
Well, that's what they have Hollywood for.
Vision.
That's what they have Hollywood for. All those actors and actresses are the uber left's fucking wet dream. They get to pretend they are those people. Those
but they can't. Yeah, but the armies of people is going to be coming from a certain more conservative stock. It just comes with the territory. Conservatism that isn't necessarily Christian, right? It's just like the way when the Roman Empire Christianized, they basically put a Christian window dressing on like the cult of Mars and all that shit, and they basically kept it. So they could keep doing their thing. It's just like, okay, use this vernacular now, but we're still fucking Martians over here. Right. And that's how the early Roman military reconciled that. And Christianity didn't have the universalist hippy dippy message. Right. That was occulted. All those aspects of the Bible that were associated with the Bacchic mystery schools that Jesus was plagiarizing at the time of his ministry. And so, all of that was, there was much more interest in doing things like controlling the fishing industry, and the fishing industry was being run by pirates. There's human trafficking for you. The whole nine, the whole 9 yards. There was a very different front of what Christianity meant before the common folk got their hands on the gospel. So they were leftists, but they were also into the alpha male thing. They were into the industrialism thing, personal responsibility thing, but their ideology was fucked, right? Right? They got it like 75% right, except they were eugenicists, genocidists. 6 million sounds a little high, but there was definitely a problem, we shall say, that they caused. The Germans caused, that is, based on a very misguided conspiracy, which is the same conspiracy that we're still talking about, right? Because that was the other half of the Nazi problem, is that you look at the global and the European context of everything that led up to the beginnings of that war, and it's just like, the globalists, yada yada yada. He was all like the same thing, right? And that's being used to confuse the current right wing into picking up socialism in that way and making it Christian instead of it was still Christian when it was Nazis too, but it was like Christian, but it was Norse in the military, thus the SS and all the other aspects of Thor and Odin that they were honoring in like the Vril and the Thule society. So this wider scope is part of the complication that gets, fed down. Like I'm reading Heidegger. So we want to talk about a world that's complicated. I bet Heidegger was no sort of monster. But he was a registered Nazi, so I am reading a Nazi's book on my channel right now and using it to break the Matrix. So it's very complicated, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yep, it is. Right on.
So I just had a neighbor pop in, a little cat, feed him a little snack.
Is there a kitty there?
Yeah, he just.
Where's that kitty?
It's a little eat and run with a little caress, but anyways, nonetheless, yeah, I feel you. So, yeah, we can. There's so many rabbit holes throughout the Matrix,
way
right?
too
What
many.
the fuck?
Yeah, and they can all be distractions, by the way.
Right, yeah. So, all these things, and they lead to endless debates and all these things and detract us from the priorities and like that proper momentum that, seemed like there was a time when there was, a really good, strong movement and folks were like just down for the cause and not worried about, whatever the fuck. And it just seems, with the augmentation of all these things, there's all these like, we kind of said it before, but these niche echo chambers within echo chambers, and there's little discords going on within those. So yeah, the divide and conquer it permeates so insidiously, I guess, right? Yeah. So what the fuck? Yeah. How can we navigate this better and just like keep a firm head upon our shoulders and try to, I don't know, approach people to facilitate or allow them to do the same? Yeah. Or, I guess, does that make sense?
Well, I think you have to choose your conversations too.
Yeah, right. Pick your battles.
You do. You have to you have to choose them. And I know that for myself, women look at me and they immediately think I'm one of them. And once I open my mouth, they realize, yeah, honey, I am not getting on your man-hating train. I'm not that person. I am not that woman. And so it's like kicked me off of quite a few podcasts, where I'm just like, oh, I guess they didn't like that one, So you got to pick and choose your conversations. So I'm not a researcher. I am on the front lines. I've actually been hand-holding people who have been abused and tormented, tortured, their families murdered, they're survivors. So that is the context of my work, and based on my own background for also being a survivor. So for myself, I used to love a debate, used to love to argue, used to like to get in people's faces and that kind of thing. And it's just not worthwhile anymore, simply because the people on the other end, there's no discourse to have. They've already made up their minds that I'm some crazy bitch. Or I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm making up SRA. I'm making up satanic ritual abuse, because there's a big faction of people who deny it. And I'm just lumped in with all the other crazy conspiracy theorists, and the conspiracies. And it's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to defend myself. I'm not going to waste time giving my energy to that kind of bullshit. And what I witness in a lot of these debates is that it is bullshit. I mean, people just want to fucking talk, and they haven't done anything. And they want to get down on me. They want to get down on Mark. They want to get down on whomever. Michael Tessarian, Sethicus, you name it. And it's just like, I'm tired of it. And I will defend these men. Absolutely, I will. But, I'm not going to waste my time when there's other things to be done that are more important in my layer of the universe. by doing that. So, I mean, it's one of the reasons why, and Zerilath, we had that conversation last week or the week before, where you know, I want to hand the torch to somebody else, because I honestly, I hear so much negativity going on with people who are on the path, who are just scratching the surface in regaining their sovereignty, regaining the audacity to be who and what they truly are as spirit. And a lot of the times I am heartbroken, and I am just like, you know, whoa, okay, I've trained a lot of people, so it's like, you know what, it may be time for something else, because there are other things that I want to do, that are you know, along the lines of accepting my creativity, honoring my spirit, and operating from the first eye, rather than getting into fighting stance. And you know, it's like, I have been fighting for, you know, over 60 years. I'm kind of done with that kind of stuff. But will I have conversations like this, where I am in support of your work, Derek, your work, Stephen, your work, Tom, wherever you are? Yes, I will. I will do that, because it is worthwhile to me. You know.
We all adjust as we advance through life phases, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's you know, it's just different modalities, you know. It's just like I don't have my my job at the garden store anymore, and you know, like that kind of, I could kind of feel that coming anyway, because you know, my heart wasn't quite in it.
Yeah.
You know,
it's not in alignment with you.
Right, it was, but you know, there's been a decent amount of shifting, you know. I've done a lot of ritual this year, and I'm sure it's working.
Yeah, and it could have just been a temporary thing to get you through that moment or phase, you know, and then voila, you know, you got the doors open for many things coming, brother man.
Yeah. We'll see what's up. I've already got one email response, so we'll see. We'll see if they want to set up the interview. If I can get to the interview, I think I'll be all right.
Right on, yeah.
Yeah.
But
cool.
yeah, Mario, what you mentioned, yeah, like, it's so heartfelt what you mentioned, and yeah, it really just sounds like I'm like talking to family, you know. And for me, it's kind of, it's a little heartbreaking, to be honest, of, you know, seeing a lot of people that, you know, are, you know, really down with, you know, whatever the fuck, natural law, spirituality, or doing these things. Yet there seems to be like stagnant waters about them, or just an ineffectiveness, if you will.
Yeah.
Or just things of just, you know, like more spectating than actually like getting involved in these things. And you're looking for people to, you know, replace you in the work that needs to be done in regards to, you know, what the fuck you've done for so long. And it seems like, you know, with people like you, people like Mark and Sethicus, and it's like there's only one of these people, and like when they're gone, what the fuck are we gonna do? Like, who's gonna, you know, carry the torch or whatever the fuck, right? Or like, who's gonna be illuminating or lighting up other torches within themselves from that fucking soul spark, from that first eye heart shit, on a hot chakra shit. So yeah. Really,
well,
just,
you know, it's you know, you know, when you're looking at one of us like that, right? You know, when you've got like when you're looking at somebody and giving them the Neo title, right? You know, it's just like, oh, look at you, you're the one, right? You know, like, as an Aries, I just tell you, you're just really just ahead of yourself, right? You're looking at, you know, like, say for some reason it's me and I've pioneered a particular thing, right? And it's just like, oh my God, why isn't everybody just doing what Steve does, right? It's all right. It'll, you know, it's like Carl Jung. Nobody's going to be a Jungian in Jung's life, right? I'll be dead, and everybody will be like, dude, remember when Zerilath said do that? you know what? I finally did that. He was fucking right. Right? That's been my life a lot of the times, you know? But, you know, I suppose I come off too arrogant, and the assumption is that I must be telling you something to make you look foolish.
People want to interpret things however they want, and yeah, Mario, what I wanted to say also is, you know, all these discourse, it just seems, you know, like people are just the confirmation biased, and just, you know, they just want to be right in the end, it seems, and not like they're not as open minded or whatever as a lot of people claim sometimes or whatever, and it's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we had a little disagreement, or maybe you didn't understand what I said. And, you know, through text messaging and all this stuff, a lot of stuff gets, you know, taken out of the equation with body language, eye contact, and cadence, and, you know, just the voice through
Yes.
the fucking, you know, throat chakra and all these things. So it's, you know, like
Yeah.
people don't seem to, you know, keep the context in mind with these things
Right.
and the
Right.
conversations through whatever fucking platform, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's low stakes conversations on Facebook, y'all. You need to chill the fuck out, you know. Y'all
Well-
be oogling memes for days, but, you know, and then like
And not only that kind of stuff, but throwing people under the bus because of who they are associated with. I get thrown under the bus because of Mark Passio, my association with him. I get thrown under the bus because of my association with Michael Tessarian. I've known him for decades. Okay, I personally worked with him. I was a client of his. Same with Sethicus.
Sheridan.
Same with Demar Sheridan, Laura Eisenhower. You know, I mean, I just get thrown. Woo, woo. But you know, heaven forbid, hell forbid that I stand on my own, and that's part of it, is that I just don't even defend my position. There's no point. There's no point. You know, I've not been here to be in the limelight. That is the last thing that I want. And every time I have been, I've been like, you know, pounded down, and you know, because there is a cost. I have lost everything dear to me 3 times, and I've had to start again. So I know the cost of what it is to live a certain ideal and live a certain way, you know, at all costs. I mean, that's what happens. Do I like it? No, I don't. I don't like it. But at the same time, look, it's too late. You know, it's too late. And it was my choice. And if I had it to do all over again, I would do it again. And that's, you know.
Yeah,
real warrior shit, yo.
Yeah. I think you may have made a similar statement on the air with me. I feel like I remember. Yeah. I think I've certainly heard you say it in some of the other contents that you've done in interviews and whatnot. You know, and that's the Phoenix, right? That's the persistent death and rebirth. Some of us go through that a hell of a lot more than others. I mean, my very first tattoo, I put a Phoenix guarding my heart, because I had already gone through a bunch of that bullshit by my mid-20s. So, it's been that hard case of going through all those kinds of deaths, and you know, a lot of them dealing with various kinds of attachments, right? You know, so like, which then, you know, because it can be funky, because if I, like, for me personally, you know, me striving to succeed working alongside my peers can also come with the baggage of my insecurity of where I perceive myself as standing alongside my peers, because you know, things, you know, odd things can go sideways, where friends you thought were like about this stuff and were interested in being involved on some level, you know, and you make the work to kind of build yourself in a way that can bring you and people that you care about with you that seem like we all have the same goals, and then they turn around one day and they tell you some arbitrary thing about you that doesn't really work, and it changes.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so then you're done.
I need to say something real quick because it fits perfectly in context, and it's been on my mind tonight after what Mario spoke about even like an hour or two ago, of just, there's people that, they jumped the gun. They, saw some truthful content, and yeah, I mean, that's great that folks are tuning into this stuff, but folks need to really go through the motherfucking trivium process, which, revolves around the who, what, where, when, why, how, and all these things, and like to get that proper knowledge, weed it fucking out, get that proper inner under overstanding, so then you can properly speak the truth. And it's best when, what does it go like? Speak from the heart, let the soul be free type of shit. How many songs have had that up in the mix? So anyways, I see too many people just not in that heart center, and they're kind of black-pilled or whatever. And to make a long story short, in a joke that Justin Padini might like, it's like... it's like, these motherfuckers, they come up on some truth, they want to jump on the bandwagon and grab the steering wheel and drive that shit off a fucking cliff.
Yeah.
The fuck we doing with that shit?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That the disease of bandwagoning, and you don't know anything. You just heard, and this peanut gallery, these peanut galleries. That's exactly what I said. Well, I heard she did this and this and this. I mean, it's like, you heard what? Like what? Wow. Okay. Great. So, this kind of stupid shit that we are dealing with, and I don't deal with it. It's like, yeah, whatever. I just am like, but what it does is that it detracts. It's a distraction from what is true. It is distraction. It's a hijacking of one's focus, and the Matrix wins again. Under the pretense of belonging. It's so fucked up. And people can't see it. They can't fucking see it because they need to belong to an echo chamber of agreement. And I think that's one of the biggest diseases that we got going on in any of these fucking movements.
Yeah, I hear you.
And then we just throw each other under the bus. How fun,
And what bus is it, and who the fuck's driving that shit?
and where's the bus going?
Yeah, where is it going exactly? I didn't even want to be on it. So funny.
Fuck yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I know we're kind of, we're pretty much at that 3-hour mark that we kind of promised for. I know we're kind of, tapering off, it seems, and hey, I know everyone's got a life to live and folks got a schedule. Marja and Zerilath, both doing great works and are busy all the time with whatever you got going on.
Thank you.
I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but I want to show one little more funny really quick.
Go for it.
Because I wanted to show these to Tom just to, I'm clowning on the funny parts of The Matrix 4, which I was really shocked that he never saw, actually.
I could have sworn he had seen it by 2022. I could have sworn he was talking about it in an interview. That threw me through a loop, because a few years, it's just like he should know. I figured he'd be interested, okay, what fuel can he add to the fire? That's my thinking, right?
Yeah, especially when Matrix 5, it's going to be dropping. That's heating up now, right?
Yeah, he wanted to talk about the fact that a Matrix. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's great on him to put himself out there, in this time where people are going to be, getting more interested and invested in the whole thing. It's like so many people are going to be, looking at it like, I can't wait to criticize this movie because the last one stunk, or I didn't understand it, or I didn't like it, or whatever the fuck,
Right.
or they didn't have the proper actors that were in the last one, or whatever the fuck.
Sure, yeah.
Honestly, I thought it was like really comical in a couple places, even with like the different actors and stuff. So this is a little bit of a highlight of that, and also kind of just it's that weird transition of when the different version of Agent Smith just comes to that deja vu of, oh yeah, I am Mr. Smith, and like I'm gonna kill you, Tom, and like it just seemed like the word Tom was echoed out in that movie, right? Thomas Anderson and all this stuff. So yeah, like it just adds on to this fucking bullshit occult mockery of that stuff. So for me, like flipping the script on that, I just laugh at that fucking bullshit because it was kind of whack. It was kind of decent for what it's worth, but it's just like like we got a bunch of fucking clowns in Hollywood, and we got a bunch of clowns that are just, investing, so much of their YouTube life to, either looking at videos about this stuff or creating content about it. And in the end, it doesn't really fucking matter. They're just, like you said, they're not a transmitter. They're a spectator, whatever the fuck, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, it does serve a purpose to a degree, whatever the fuck it would be. But, c'est la vie.
It's like stay in the Matrix. Good. Stay there.
What is it? You want to spend the rest of your life talking about poop culture?
Poop culture. I gotta make fun of shit. I mean, it's what I do. I like it.
Fuck yeah. All right, I'm gonna play this and then maybe give a couple of minutes after that, and we'll say bonne journée. Yeah.
Oh my god. Nice one.
Thanks.
Nice one. Like, who does that in a fight scene and just like the weird shit and like the neck roll? Like, it's just funny.
Oh man.
It just, I don't know. It just cracks me up, and
like, I see, like I knew what, like I could see what it was, right? Like I cover bits and pieces of all that, like in my Matrix 4 thing. I go over like they're kind of playing Smith as like almost like a psychopath archetype, right? It's just like they hodgepodged a lot of like darn things together, and before I knew the Tom Althouse story, I just gave it a lot of forgiveness because of all those low expectations of 2021 Hollywood.
It was the beginning of the flopbuster, right? Forget about the blockbusters, right? They, they're flopping all over the place.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, yikes.
All right.
That's
Yeah, I
funny.
just want to say, thank you so much.
Thank you.
What's your YouTube handle? A lot of folks, DN who just popped in, and Theo, of course, and other folks that are peeping this out. I really appreciate it, and yeah, really sincere apologies for just unforeseen glitches in this makeshift version of what was supposed to be the Immortals, not the Matrix. Right, Zerilath?
That's
Immortal.
yes. As I told Tom, that's just a coincidence because of the particulars of my life taking the immortal title. Nothing to do with the script.
Awesome, guys.
Fair enough, yeah. Any last words, Marja? And I really appreciate you, holding down this space and protecting it and respecting it.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here.
Wow, yeah.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah. Большое спасибо. Добрый вечер. So everybody have a nice night. Happy to be here. And until next time, because we are going to continue. And I hope we get Tom back because I think, we need to pick this up again.
Okay.
Yeah, too many questions left
Yeah, it was 20 minutes and then we lost him, right? So that's super unfortunate. This there has to be a round 2 because this was barely a round 1.
Sure, I'm sure he'll be in connects with them down the road, and we'll keep
Yes,
informed. And
as soon as he's back, I'm assuming his network got connected. Maybe the power went down while they were fixing the power or something like that, and it threw him completely out. I don't know. We'll find out.
Like a
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
In the chat.
Bonsoir.
Really appreciate you all. Okay.
Have a great day. Yeah. And remember, folks, try to be the glitch that